Right? Dhruv Rathee created a video on Atul Subhash case. If I look at majority of his video, it's full of likes. But what I did detect is a bunch of white lies. And as you can see on the screen right here, we have 4 lies that I have detected. And I'm gonna try to debunk all of them with only and only facts. And if there's anything I accuse him of that I can't present a proof for, you can call me out in the comments and I will delete my channel. Let's start.
पेटर्निटी फ्रॉड, किसी आदमी की वाइफ उसे धोखा दे दे और वो अपने बच्चे का बायोलॉजिकल फादर ना हो, जबकि उसे लगता है कि वो है। इसको लेकर सोसाइटियल एटीट्यूड्स में भी प्रॉब्लम है। टॉक्सिक मैस्कुलिनिटी वाला जो समाज है, वो इस आदमी का मजाक उड़ाता है ये कहते हुए कि ये तो
Here we go.
अपनी पत्नी को काबू में भी नहीं रख पाए।
Why is it only men who are making fun of other men?
सेकेंडली, इसको लेकर जो लीगल कॉम्प्लिकेशन,
And he just moved on. When he started the video, his claim was that it's system corruption, but he didn't highlight the problem.
भी नहीं हुई। इसको लेकर सोसाइटियल एटीट्यूड्स में भी प्रॉब्लम है। टॉक्सिक मैस्कुलिनिटी वाला जो समाज,
Chad, it's not a societal attitude. I'll be sure it is, but he didn't highlight the main problem with the system. Chad, do you know there is an Evidence Act in Indian law which dictates that any child that is conceived by a woman while she's married, here, I'll show you, is assumed to be of the husband, even though man is not the owner of wife's sexuality. This was overturned in 2018, where women are allowed to cheat. We have a video on cheating. 7 out of 10 women cheat in marriages. This is a survey by websites like, what do you call it? Ashley Madison and stuff like that. Right? So 7 out of 10 women are cheating on their husbands, which is legalized by Supreme Court because they think man is not the owners of wife's sexuality. Then we have this Evidence Act, which says birth during marriage is a conclusive proof of legitimacy, meaning she can sleep with another man, right? And this article states the fact that any person was born during the continuance of valid marriage between his mother and any man, chat, any man, or within 280 days after its dissolution, the mother remaining unmarried, shall be conclusive proof that he's the legitimate son of that man. So they are basically forcing men to raise somebody else's child. Do you know how it gets worse, chat? I think I saw an article, I'll try to find it. Gujarat Paternity Love fails in 80% of paternity tests. 90%. Chat, look at this article. Do you know what this article states? Of the men who went to do a paternity test at a DNA lab of their child, of those, 90% cases found out that the child was not theirs. In nearly 90% of the cases, the sample do reveal the child in question is not related to the father. The men opt for it when they want a divorce to choose on here and harbor doubts about the paternity of the children. On the other hand, women seek the test to prove that the child was indeed fathered by the person in an alimony case. By the way, this is what I'm reading is 2018. It's changed a lot. I'll explain to you now. Give me a second. Every week we get 4 to 5 cases of couples requesting paternity tests on their child. There are far more requests for prenatal testing, which we decline as we do not wish to be party to ending life in a case the family decided to abort the child in case of negative test. This test is nicknamed the peace of mind test in the West as people opt for it to just lay nagging suspicions to rest. With rising availability and ease case, more people locally are opting for DNA testing. Chat. Okay, chat. I think I saw one article where they said they stopped doing it. I'm trying to find that. What the hell just happened here? Okay, chat. Another article from 2014. Forensic lab finds love cheats in 98% cases. The test not only devastated father and the daughter, but also led to the collapse of the Shah marriage. Okay, it's an anecdote. Gujarat records more than 250 paternity test cases annually. More surprisingly, data reveals that 98% of cases confirm suspicions. Child is not theirs. Okay, this is like a repeat of what I read in 2018 article. The official added that average age of the child in such cases ranges from 10 to 12 years they've been raising somebody else's child. When physical resemblance to parents start appearing, that's when they become suspicious, okay? It is an expensive affair costing more than $35,000 on an average, but people, mostly from the middle class, go for it. So chat, even if you could afford this, even if you could do this test, it is unaffordable for majority of the men. Imagine 7 out of 10 women are cheating. You can't even afford a test, even if it was allowed. We have seen families disintegrating in front of our eyes. That law doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I'll get back to that in a second. We have seen families disintegrating in front of our eyes, said a forensic science expert. In a couple of cases, women were pleading so much that we even went for a retest just to be sure. The worst hit are the kids who witness divorces or bitter legal fights. Now, chat, this is where I have a problem. What I'm about to read right now. It says, chat, let me know your thoughts on this. It says, I have stopped entertaining private requests for paternity test after a father abandoned his daughter when the results proved negative. It was a heavy burden on my conscience. Chat, this test is no more legal. If you went to a court asking for a DNA test, let me see if I can show you a proof for that. Court denies DNA test of a child to father. Supreme Court says cannot order DNA test of child to prove infidelity charge. Chat, you try to explain to me how is this fair? And this guy, the entire narrative that families are being destroyed. Do they not see that families are being destroyed when women are cheating? Why did you legalize that? Do they not see that families are being broken when you allow divorce? Why do you allow that? This is basically abuse. You're basically having a father raise somebody else's child while women is gaining from it. So then at that point, why do you give help to women who basically suffer domestic violence? That also breaks up a marriage. That also abandons the children, right? They lose both of their parents in the home. Why is it that we only apply standards selectively? Women are allowed to be saved, but men are not allowed to be saved. Then we're just throwing them under the bus just to keep a family together. Think about it, chat. 7 out of 10 women are cheating. How many of men do you think are raising children that is not theirs? And then Supreme Court goes, you cannot order a DNA test. Chat, this is like asking somebody to score 100 marks on a test which is scored out of 80. How can you get 100? And then Supreme Court would say, yeah, prove adultery if you don't want to pay maintenance, but you're not allowed to get a DNA test. How can you prove adultery, chat? Truth is not much important these days. Yeah, no, it's not, because see, chat, the problem is that other people have started making rules for us. We can't make rules for women. It's women's choice, whatever they want to do. We can't make rules for them, but they can make rules for us. So paternity fraud is not a small matter. Now my problem is that, chat, this guy didn't cover it. He just went right over it. He didn't mention that it's a law issue or it's a rights issue. He just
है इससे धोखा दे बात अभी तक शुरू भी नहीं हुई है, जैसे कि पैटर्निटी फ्रॉड। किसी आदमी की वाइफ उसे धोखा दे दे और वो अपने बच्चे का बायोलॉजिकल फादर ना हो, जबकि उसे लगता है कि वो है। इसको लेकर सोसाइटल एटीट्यूड्स में भी प्रॉब्लम है। टॉक्सिक मैस्कुलिनिटी वाला जो समाज
he's just moving on.
वो इस आदमी का मजाक उड़ाता है ये कहते हुए कि ये तो अपनी पत्नी को काबू में भी
What proof do you have that it's only men? What proof do you have?
नहीं रख पाए। सेकेंडली इसको लेकर जो लीगल
Secondly, he just moved on. He just didn't give any details that how it's a legal issue and how men are suppressed. Do you think he knows and he isn't telling them, or he just doesn't know this? So I'm not calling this a lie. As you can see, this is not one of the lies. This is just incomplete information.
एप्लीकेशंस आती हैं वो आदमी को फेवर नहीं करती। चाइल्ड कस्टडी का भी इससे रिलेटेड मामला है। अगर आदमी और औरत का डिवोर्स हो जाता है तो बच्चे की कस्टडी किसे मिलेगी? इस आर्टिकल को देखिए। ठाणे फैमिली कोर्ट में एक आरटीआई से पता चला कि उस साल जो 83 चाइल्ड कस्टडी के मामले थे, उनमें से केवल 2 केस में पिता को बच्चे की कस्टडी मिली थी। इस आरटीआई को फाइल किया था एक हस्बैंड ने, जिन्होंने अपने 5 साल के बेटे की शक्ल तक नहीं देखी थी पिछले 2 सालों से।
So I'm gonna give him props. I think he was fair. Like, this is something we have covered in adultery video, and he showed it. So right, so like some of his reporting is fair, and it's true that you know, in majority of the matters they won't give child custody to a man.
उनमें से केवल 2 केस में पिता को बच्चे की कस्टडी मिली थी।
Valid.
इस आरटीआई को फाइल किया था एक हस्बैंड ने, जिन्होंने अपने 5 साल के बेटे की शक्ल तक नहीं देखी थी पिछले 2 सालों से। कस्टडी मिलना तो बहुत दूर की बात है। कई सारे मर्दों को अपने बच्चों से मिलने तक नहीं दिया जाता कई सालों तक। जब भी बच्चे से मिलना है एक एप्लीकेशन फाइल करनी पड़ती है। बैंड्रा के बिजनेसमैन समीर बताते हैं कि एक्सेस ऑर्डर होने के बावजूद भी वो अपने बच्चों से मिल नहीं पाते। फिर है मुद्दा मेंस रेप का, जो
Okay, I think his coverage on child custody was very fair. Like, I have no complaints.
रेप विक्टिम्स होती हैं, उनके खिलाफ समाज में बहुत सारा स्टिग्मा होता है।
What do you guys think? Did he leave anything out?
लोग कहते हैं उनकी पवित्रता चली गई। लेकिन अगर किसी आदमी का एक दूसरे आदमी द्वारा रेप किया जाता है तो इसमें एक अलग
Chat, he just said that
बहुत सारा स्टिग्मा मेंस रेप का।
he's talking about men's rape, and he's saying that men are just raped by other.
जो औरतें रेप विक्टिम्स होती हैं,
Oh
उनके
my
खिलाफ
God.
समाज में बहुत सारा स्टिग्मा होता है। उनकी इज्जत चली गई, लोग कहते हैं उनकी पवित्रता चली गई। लेकिन अगर किसी आदमी का एक दूसरे आदमी द्वारा रेप किया जाता है तो
Why?
Show dick some respect.
Why can he not be raped by women?
इसमें एक अलग तरह का स्टिग्मा देखने को मिलता है। कहा जाता है कि इसकी मर्दानगी चली गई। वॉर में मेंस रेप एक डार्क
Chat, we have reached the point where the first lie is being told,
सीक्रेट जैसा है,
and it's on me to try to debunk it.
कहीं से ऐसी कुछ बातें सुनने को
But we're
मिलती
gonna
हैं।
listen to it
जेल में
first.
आदमियों के साथ फेलो क्रिमिनल्स द्वारा रेप होता
He's still going. He's just talking about men on men rape.
है।
किसी को पता नहीं चलेगा, खाली एक दो है।
There he goes. Yeah, there he goes.
समाज में
Chat, this whole thing is profile.
भी ऐसा होता है, लेकिन ये हेवीली अंडर रिपोर्टेड है। अमेरिका से भारत तक मास मीडिया में मेंस रेप पर मजाक किए जाना आम बात है। स्टैंड अप कॉमेडी से लेकर कैजुअल कॉन्वर्सेशन।
Okay, chat. First of all, I don't think he's talking. Chat, let me ask you a question, chat. Is it racist? Where is he? Is it racist if I said that when we're discussing racism against black people, that the problem is only black on black crime? Am I racist if I said that? Then how is it that you can say that rape of men is only men on men issue? How do you know? Chat, keep in mind, black people in America make up for 13% of the population, and they perpetrate 53% of the crimes. 13% of the population commits 53% of the crimes. Right, chat? Am I factually right? Yet, you cannot profile them as for being criminals just because of their race. So how is it that you can profile men as men raping other men without even showing us any evidence? if it's majority or mostly men. You don't even if you had evidence, it still wouldn't be valid. But you don't even have evidence. Look, by philosophy of justice, it's more unjust even if a single person had been done unjust. I agree. See, the problem is, if you look at the crime statistics, murder is the least committed crime. 0.1% of all crimes. So what? You don't make laws for them because it's 0.1%. But I am asking, what proof does he have that men are minority in rape and they're only raped by other men? I, however, have proof that. So there should be rape law for men, women, LGBT, whatever. Exactly. And I'm speculating the reason why he doesn't want to talk about rape of men from women is because he will have to disclose why we don't have those laws, because women's rights group protest them, and there's evidence for that. But anyway, we're not going to go into that today. But are men raped by women? We have made a video on that. I'm not going to play that entire video, but I have statistics in that video and I have sources in that video.
This is Karan Khandra. When asked about sexual assault,
so we're just gonna skip to the part.
Views.
Men do
Far more shock.
Chat, we're just gonna watch this part, and we'll see if men are only raped by other men. Is this true?
Up the safe, but I have some good news. After clearing all the facade, I was finally able to find the direct source of Subhash was quoting from. The real government survey that was is that behind the facade of the women's organization.
So chat, look at this. If you get your information from feminist sources, this is what you're gonna get. 91% of the victims of rape and sexual assault are female and 9% are male. What else was available here?
Fedora Idiot and Daniel Slosh was quoting from the real government survey that was behind.
1 in 71 men will be raped at some point in their lives. It's a very low number. And then it says perpetrators of sexual violence against men are white heterosexual men. If this is your source, this is the information you'll get. But the real question is it true? I mean, look at the Diddy party, bro. I mean, females were there, weren't they? Yeah, exactly.
In the facade of the women's organizations. But what I was not expecting is that the actual findings of the survey are far more shocking than what anyone could imagine. So how many men are made to penetrate by women? And how does it compare to women's rape? This is the number of women that reported experiencing rape in 12 months. And this is the number of men that reported experiencing rape in 12 months.
So chat, this is a lower number, and this is what people use to mislead, but it's only half the picture. Let me just move myself up somewhere first. Where am I? I'll just go here for a moment. But the second half of the picture is this.
It's very little, right? But this is the number of men that reported being made to penetrate.
Yeah, so chat, the problem is that when men are raped by women, which does not require penetration. Women make you penetrate. It's a forced sexual assault, right? That number is this. So how can you say that men are only raped by other men?
Yeah, not exactly.
Very few cases I feel.
Yeah, very few cases. Very few cases I feel.
show dick some respect.
Very few cases. 1.26 million.
Every male victim, there are 14 female victims.
In fact, in 2012, this number was this much more higher than women.
But that is more women, no?
It's the biggest piece of dog shit that I have ever heard.
But one question remains unanswered. Who is the perpetrator in majority of sexual assault against men? This is the percentage of perpetrators that are male.
So 15% of the perpetrators are male, chat. And Dhruv Rathee entire segment is men raping other men. He doesn't think it's important to highlight that women can do it when they make up for how many? 78%. 79. Chat, 79% of rapists in men's cases are women, but it just doesn't make the cut for Dhruv Rathee.
that are female.
84% of male sexual assault survivors were sexually assaulted by men.
Even if there are few, it doesn't mean to leave them out. Yeah, I agree. That's what I was talking about earlier.
When men are sexually assaulted, it's usually done by other men.
A small-scale study even in India reveals some startling numbers.
It is a problem in India.
222 men were surveyed by Center for Civil Society, and this is the percentage of men that reported being
So chat, this number matches the CDC study in US, where they have numbers which is also 1 in 5 men. If you go to CDC website, I think I've put sources here in the description, in the pinned comment here. Right? So where's the CDC link here? CDC, how many men are sexually abused? There are simple stats available. Wasn't there a page on CDC website? Sorry, yeah, there was. They've changed the website. Nearly 1 in 4. Okay, so nearly 1 in 4 men in the US experience some form of contact sexual violence in their lifetime. About 1 in 14 men in the US were made to penetrate someone during their lifetime. Chat, I just want to clarify. This lifetime figure changes, and you know what? Forget it. It's not in the scope of our video right now. So 1 in 4 men in US experience some form of contact sexual violence, right? And what does this Delhi, India study say? 1 in 5 men, 18%.
being raped.
So it matches.
16 of those 18% were raped by this gender.
16 of 18% were raped by a woman. But it doesn't make a cut. It's not good enough for Dhruv Rathee, apparently. He wants to talk about... He wants to talk about... how many? Some like 20% of the men who are raped by other men. That's his entire segment.
मेंस रेप एक डार्क सीक्रेट जैसा है। दूसरे आदत चली गई, लोग विक्टिम्स होती हैं, अपने बच्चों से मिल नहीं, समाज में बहुत सारा स्टिग्मा होता है, उनकी इज्जत चली गई, लोग कहते हैं उनकी पवित्रता चली गई। लेकिन अगर किसी आदमी का एक दूसरे आदमी द्वारा रेप किया जाता है तो इसमें एक अलग तरह का...
Did I debunk a lie right now? I don't think I've debunked it fully. Let's just go through the entire segment. And then let me know if I can check one of the boxes up there. Let me just fix myself first. What is wrong with me? My OCD starts triggering. What am I doing? Okay, it has to be perfect, you know. Arthur was actually very, very critical of females, and other philosophers are too. So if you want to take appeal from authority, it's more evident to take their stand. Okay, fair enough. I've not read it, but now that you've explained it, I'll go take a look later. Cool.
जाता है कि इसकी मर्दानगी चली गई। वॉर में मेंस रेप एक डार्क सीक्रेट जैसा है, बस कहीं-कहीं से ऐसी कुछ बातें सुनने को
मिलती हैं। So he's only going in places like prison, war, where men are raped by other men. He doesn't want to talk about anything else.
फेलो क्रिमिनल्स द्वारा रेप होता है।
किसी को पता नहीं चलेगा। खाली
Chat, in jail, women rape other women at 4 times the rate that men do. So when you make a feminism video or women's rights video, is that the only thing you talk about? Dhruv? Women rape other men at 4 times the rate that men do. In prison.
show Dick some respect.
Yeah, show us some respect. Dhruv.
समाज में भी ऐसा होता है,
selective information.
अमेरिका से भारत तक मास मीडिया में मेंस रेप पर मजाक किए जाना आम बात है। स्टैंड अप कॉमेडी से लेकर कैजुअल कॉन्वर्सेशंस में मेल रेप को ट्रिवियलाइज किया जाता है। ये एक जनरल लिंगो भी बन गई है, लोग अक्सर इसे गाली के तौर पर इस्तेमाल करते हैं। ऐसी हालातों में सोचकर देखिए, किसी मेल रेप सर्वाइवर के लिए रिकवरी मेजर्स
What proof do you have when men make fun of other men for this?
तो क्या ही होंगे। इस पर कानून क्या कहता है? आपको याद ही होगा दोस्तों, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने सेक्शन 377 को पार्शियली स्ट्राइक डाउन कर दिया था और इसके चलते होमोसेक्सुअलिटी को डीक्रिमिनलाइज कर दिया गया था कुछ साल पहले। यानी कि दो कंसेंटिंग एडल्ट्स में सेम सेक्स रिलेशंस लीगली अलाउड होंगे, लेकिन इसी सेक्शन में फोर्स्ड सोडोमी को लेकर प्रोविजंस बरकरार।
Again, he's still talking about men on men rape.
जो मेंस रेप से डील करते थे, जैसे कि 14
Yeah, you just made forced sodomy illegal. That's it. Men and rape of men is resolved. Because the only time women rape is when they use dildos to penetrate men. Is that how it works?
उनको उत्तर प्रदेश पुलिस ने 4 लोगों को
Show
गिरफ्तार
dick some
किया।
respect.
आरोप था कि इन्होंने एक 23 साल के आदमी का गैंग
It's
रेप
going on and
किया।
on
इसके
and
बाद
on
उस
and on.
आदमी की आत्महत्या की वजह से मृत्यु हो गई। पुलिस ने इन 4 लोगों को इसी सेक्शन 377 के अंदर।
You know what, chat? This is what Dhruv deserves. Dhruv, you have a mental block, Dhruv. Dhruv, when you started a video, Dhruv said that there are progressive people and patriarchal people. Dhruv, you don't look like a progressive person, Dhruv, if you believe in stereotypes like this. Is this what Dhruv Rathi's audience really thinks? They have given him 99% like ratio. They think they're progressives, but they think women cannot rape men. The progressives, chat. The progressives.
गिरफ्तार किया था। लेकिन अब नई भारतीय न्याय संहिता में मेन और ट्रांसजेंडर्स के रेप के लिए कोई सेक्शन ही नहीं है। सही सुना आपने दोस्तों, जब से मोदी सरकार आईपीसी को हटाकर बीएनएस लेकर आई है, मेंस रेप एक गुनाह ही नहीं है हमारे देश में। क्या ही कहोगे यहां पर आप? मोदी है तो मुमकिन है। दूसरा में
I'm sorry, man. Like, what? Where did the political agenda come in between this? Okay, it's only Modi's fault. It's only BJP's fault that that's happened. Okay, sure. Yeah. Like, they removed Section 377. And he's moving on. That's it. This is his end of his segment. But bro didn't explain that even Congress, chat. Let me show you something, chat. We've covered this before, so I'm just gonna go over it quick. I'm not gonna over-explain this. So it's only Modi's fault. Okay, fair enough. Let's take a look. Chat, you remember this article which keeps coming up? Where women's rights activists protested against gender-neutral rape laws? Yeah, who was the government, Dhruv? Who was the government at that point of time? Was it Modi? Was it BJP? Who was it? All of these organizations protested. Chat, does anybody know who was the government in power in 2012? 2013. Congress. Women's activists protested. You took back the suggestion for gender-neutral rape laws. How is only Modi to blame for this? Oh, the other parties are great. Is that really true? He's a great storyteller. Not gonna lie, and he uses that at his fullest. I agree, he is a good storyteller. He does have his own agenda, bro. Yeah, I mean, that's the best explanation. He just wants... What? Like, how is it only BJP's fault, chat? Like, your Congress party is good. Like, yeah, they had it perfect in their time. So we're just gonna move on. But chat, I do have to debunk the whole lie here. And he did place some great accusations here, right?
क्रिमिनल्स द्वारा रेप होता है। ऐसी कुछ बातें तो इसमें एक अंडर रिपोर्टेड है। अमेरिका से बाहर कहीं से अन की चली जाता है की पवित्र अलग तरह का स्टिग्मा देखने को मिलता है। कहा जाता है कि इसकी मर्दानगी चली गई। वॉर में
Only men make fun of other men.
मेंस रेप एक डार्क सीक्रेट जैसा है, बस कहीं कहीं
किसी को पता नहीं चलेगा, खाली एक दो
समाज में भी ऐसा होता है, लेकिन ये हेवीली अंडर रिपोर्टेड है। अमेरिका से भारत तक मास मीडिया में मेल रेप को
So chat, we're gonna take a look at whether or not it's true that only men make fun of other men. Okay? And if I debunk the whole thing, because we've already covered the numbers, that 78% of rapes on men are committed by women, both in India and in the US. But is it only men who make fun of other men? Do you think is that true? But what if I was to statistically prove him wrong? Do I then get to check one of these boxes? Well, we'll see. I think I have some proof. Okay, chat. We are going to go step by step in this process right now. Okay, firstly, let me close all of these tabs because they're going to trigger anxiety, chat. Like, I can't take it. Okay, yeah. Let's get rid of them. Okay, chat. Here's what I'm gonna do. I am first going to show you how the grape when a man is a grape victim, right? I'm going to show you a story of a guy who's an actor who shared his story, and we'll see who shamed him the most, right? We're going to take a look at two stories. Then we're going to take a look at the statistics, meaning when men are raped, when they go to a psychologist, what do those men say happens in those therapy sessions? Like, do they receive a positive treatment or negative treatment, right? And then we're going to take a look at Washington Post survey that tells how common it is for men to get shamed when they're raped. So in this entire segment, we'll see if it's only men who shame other men, or are there any other players. So when I present to you a study, right, which is statistical in nature, I don't think there is any room for doubt left after that. So I get to check one of these boxes, and his entire lie about men rape other men and men laugh at other men gets to be debunked. Let's see if I can do that. Okay, so let me pull the first story, chat. This is a story of molestation by a woman. I think I read it. Hold on, chat. Chat, I present to you Shivam Patil, an actor in Indian cinema. This gentleman right here. And this is his story, chat. What does it read? Still new to the country and Victoria. Didn't know anyone, no good friends, so I went to meet a completely new group. And after one person's birth celebration, later we went out to dance. Walking downtown to the club, one of the women, a white woman, had been expressing interest in me and suddenly put her hand on my butt. I reacted in discomfort. She said, "Oh, sorry, that's just something I tend to do." "Oh, really? Okay." I dismissed. Shouldn't have. At the club, the harassment became assault. There was a lot of inappropriate touching by this woman. The rest of the group could see her behave like this. She tried to kiss me multiple times. I refused and politely said, "I am not comfortable." Soon after, she stopped asking and just grabbed me on the dance floor and leaned in to kiss me. I refused. She didn't stop coming close to my face, so I turned my head away to dodge. She ended up leaning into the side of my face, so she bit my ear hard, enough to make it bleed, and said it in my ear, "I'm gonna take you home and sit on your face." Now, how do you think people reacted to this? Was there only men who were shaming him? We're gonna find out. Sass and Indian male model are common, bro. Okay, I could not even push this woman away. What would happen if a brown immigrant pushed a white woman in public? I'd be arrested. Wait, you can't even see, chat. I'm on my main scene. Chat, you guys gotta tell me something. I read the entire story. You weren't even looking at the screen? Jesus. Oh my. This is stupid. Yeah, this is what I just read to you. Okay? I'm at the bottom here right now. I'd be arrested, and the person that I'm talking about is this gentleman right here. Okay, since you didn't see it before, chat. This is the actor we're discussing. Okay, I could not even push this woman away. What would happen if a brown immigrant pushed a white woman in public? I'd be arrested, and it would be the end of my life right there. Let me fix it. Hold on. There you go. Okay, back. Yeah, you can read it right now. Okay, I'd be arrested and it would be the end of my life right now. No one would believe me, so I slowly moved out of her grip. She abruptly left. Next. I'm still trying to process what the fuck had happened. I tried to speak to other women in the group. Okay, well now we'll find out how they reacted. Seeking help. One of them minimized it as, "Never mind her, she's a flirt and means no harm." Oh really? Okay. And dismissed me outright. Another said, "Don't be so harsh on people. It's okay, she'll apologize later." Chad, do you think this is how women would have responded if a man had done this? A third woman in the group, an Indian woman, had the worst reaction of them all. Questioning everything I said and responded with, "Maybe you harassed her." This traumatized me, but didn't shock me because it's a common response. In Canada, men do not call police when they're abused by a woman because 70% cases where men called police for help, the police treated man as the abuser and arrested him. So I remember when I said, Dhruv is profiling men-on-men rape as black-on-black crime. Just like black people get profiled as criminals, that's exactly what happens to men in these cases because of the exact stereotypes this guy is peddling right here. Based on the terrible Juliet feminist model, police are trained in that pretends like female on male abuse isn't real. Just like Dhruv Rathee. As a brown student, I could definitely not report this to the police. Even just writing about it here, risking absolutely everything, I cannot name the woman who essayed me. She is white in a Western world. It's taken me a year just to process this and try to speak at all. And just in the last 24 hours, 6 feminists have DM'd me to pressure me to not speak about radicalized sexual violence I'm surviving because it's not a man's time to speak, chat. It's not a man's time to speak right now. Okay, this part is just him talking to her. So in this story, we're only talking about stories right now. We'll get to statistics later. I don't see a man shaming him. Is it only men shaming other men? As per Dhruv, it's only men who shame other men. Wow, Dhruv, what a progressive thinking, man. Chat, let's go to Rakesh Sima. Chat, this guy is a journalist. And he has been sexually harassed. What was his story? Wait, what just happened here? This is the last story, chat, then we'll go to statistics. But I just want you to read how people experience things, and it's much different than what people would claim. Here is Rakesh Sima. Chat, do you remember this controversy where this Olympian Neeraj Chopra was being harassed by an radio jockey? Yeah, well, this guy spoke out back then. Worst part of being harassed by women is nobody takes you seriously. Your friends laughed. Smart wale ho. Wish someone would do that to us. Female judge, I confided in. It's judge. It's a judge. Consider yourself lucky at your age young women are stalking you. They don't know how crazy stalkers are. So why does Dhruv think that it's only men's problem? Let me know your thoughts on this. I hope no one reports this live as happened to previous one. I hope no one reports this live as happened to previous one. What are you saying? Previous who? What are you saying, Pandey? Now, chat, we're gonna take a look at statistics. Sir, I want to ask you a question. If you were raped as a man by a woman, sexually abused, molested, harassed, if you went to a psychologist, what do you think happens? This is a Washington survey. Many people do not define man pushed into non-consensual sex as a person who has been sexually assaulted. A 2018 survey of 1,200 adults were surveyed. They believed 1 in 3 would not quite believe a man who said he was raped by a woman. I don't see a gender here, because Dhruv thinks it's only men who don't believe other men, and men shame other men. It says 1 in 3 people, 1,200 adults, would not believe a man who was raped by a woman. And 1 in 4 believed men enjoy being raped by a woman. I don't see a gender, but apparently Dhruv Rathee has a gender. So it's not clear, it's still not clear. It says 1,200, but who? Men or women? Well, I have further proof. So chat, I'm gonna present you with studies right now. Keep in mind, chat, what percentage of psychiatrists, let's call it psychologists, are men versus women? Chat, keep in mind as context, 76% of the psychology doctorates, 74% of early career psychologists are women. Chat. So a profession that is dominated by women, 76-74%. How do you think they treat when men reach out to them for help after being raped by women? Psychologists need sessions. First, bro, I guess if you know, you know. Yeah, but Dhruv Rathee believes it's only men who shame other men. But psychologists are 76% female. So how do they treat it? So I'm going to present you 2 studies. There's a study that is called Honey, We Don't Do Men. Gender stereotypes in the provision of services sexually assaulted males. I cannot access this study. However, I can access another study. and it's very detailed in terms of experiences. So for those, if you can access this, feel free to read it. But basically what it does say is, when men reach out for help after being sexually assaulted by women, they either get played down by these professionals, or outright dismissed, that that's not a problem we resolve, or that you should have enjoyed it. But there's a parallel study that is open for visibility. This is a study called To a Safer Place: Victims of Sexual Abuse by Females and Their Disclosure to Professionals. Remember, chat, professionals meaning 76% are women. And let's see how they respond. We're going to read stories in a second in this study, but first, of the total sample, 6 participants, 43% reported experiencing only positive professional responses. 2 participants, 14% reported experiencing only negative professional responses, and 6%, 43% reported experiencing both negative and positive. Now, if you go down in the bottom chat, this study explains that it recruited participants only from places where their final outcome was positive, meaning you went to 1, 2, 3, 4 psychologists and the 4th one was positive. That's where they were recruiting these people from. So they've disclosed that bias here, meaning majority of the participants they're recruiting at the final stage have a positive experience. But the people who reached out and got a negative experience and they never found a positive psychologist, these people couldn't reach them. Like, they don't know how to reach those, right? But even in those people that were recruited at their last stage when they had a positive experience, they said 43% had a negative experience before, and additional 14% had only negative experiences, right? So that makes total of 59%, given that bias is in favor of positive experiences. But what are their stories? And is it only men who are shaming them? I went to a psychiatrist, a woman in her 30s. When I told her that abuse was perpetrated by a Michelle, she expressed surprise. A woman? You mean a female? Yes, I hope you don't greet this with surprise, but she did. Then she told me that was a special need that was not covered by her psychiatrist practice. I left her office startled, confused, hurt, and very angry to have a person who's supposed to be healing professional, who cannot afford to be naive, express shock that a woman is capable of sexual abuse. I found that attitude repeated again and again. But Dhruv Rathee thinks it's only a men-on-men problem, chat. There's actually a very good count here, which I'll read later. Feel so filthy and alone before disclosing, and then to be reassured by a professional, to be told it's not your fault. Okay, this is a positive experience. Okay. Nobody listened. No matter what I did, no matter where I went, they never believed my mother was abusing me. They see women as gentle, caring, not harmful and abusive. The reaction of professionals when I would talk about the sexual abuse by my mother was, we don't want to hear about that. Yeah, we don't want to hear about that. In an industry where 76% are women, we don't want to hear about women abusing you. I would be shut down. I was told I was changing the subject and told just how bad could that have been. Yeah, how bad could it be? You got assaulted by a female. These were horrible experiences that went to different groups, but I would get the same reaction in an industry where 76% chat are women psychologists. But Dhruv Rathee thinks it's only men-on-men problem. It gets worse. Respondents who reported negative professional responses revealed that such responses had 3 main effects. They increased their distrust of professionals fueled victims' sense of anger and incited participants to question or deny the sexual abuse. I felt very betrayed by the professionals. I felt there was no professional that I could ever trust again. I didn't feel they really listened to me regarding the abuse by my mom. After seeing the psychologist and having him laugh in my face, this is a guy, about the abuse by my female babysitter, I decided that I didn't want to go back and see a counselor. What are you going to report female abuse to? The police? They laugh at you. I've had that happen. There's nobody you can turn to. I'm so angry, professional really screwed my mind. I don't know if it was really sexual abuse. She came to climaxes. It was traumatizing. Okay, this is they're going in denial. But I think I read something here. You tell me, chat, does this not match Shivam Parul's story? I felt terribly indebted to the women's movement for bringing our issues of sexual abuse. However, it seemed to be conditional. When I wanted to deal with abuse by females, these same women who were so validating when it came to talking about men as perpetrators were absolutely repulsed when I raised the subject of female perpetrators. I couldn't believe the resistance. Oh, you can't even read chat. You gotta tell me. Okay, yeah, this is the section I'm reading. This one. I felt thoroughly indebted to women's movement for bringing out issues of sexual abuse. It was conditional. When I wanted to deal with abuse by females, these same women who were validating when it came to talking about men as perpetrators, just like Dhruv Rathee, were absolutely repulsed when I raised the subject of female perpetrators. I couldn't believe the resistance. Talking about that just wasn't okay. But Dhruv thinks it's only men on men problem, chat. That is a gross misrepresentation, Dhruv.
Show Dick some respect.
I told my therapist, my mother filleted me in the bathtub. I got really emotional, tried to change the subject. He was obviously very nervous about it. He didn't want to hear about my abuse by a woman. So this matches Shivam's experience. It doesn't match Dhruv's representation of men on men crime, men on men shaming. Men are men's own problem, chat. Who knew? Actually, I think I would like to end this segment by telling you about a very sad story. I don't know if I can find it. The harmful effects of stereotypes, chat. Stereotypes like this. Let me see if I can find that story. I think I can find it. Maybe. Yep, I found it. So chat, what happens when you have stereotypes like this, right? Men on men rape, men on men shaming. Some predators take advantage of that, chat. This story is of a kid, a 17-year-old, who was being raped by a female teacher. Class 11 boy. Had a brilliant academic record. He left a self-delete note, quoted self-delete note. And when he ended himself, they found him hanging at a home in Bilaspur on March 18. This was what he had written in blood on the wall. So they used that as a passcode, unlock his computer. I think mobile phone actually, which had details of rape by a woman. But you know what else did it have, chat? This is his testimony, chat. According to Indian society, men are always wrong. A woman can never be wrong. There is nothing like gender-neutral rape laws. There is nothing like child harassment. It's possible he wasn't aware of the POCSO Act, which is gender-neutral. Now, what's my point, chat, with this? I'm so sorry to say that, but in real time, there had been feminization of the academics. Any research paper that doesn't mean their agenda is bashed on. Yes. I mean, have you seen gender studies in academia? It's only about women. But gender means both genders. Why is it only about women? But my point with this is, chat, this was a 17-year-old kid. First of all, it's a misrepresentation that POCSO is a gender-neutral law. It is only gender-neutral if an adult woman rapes a minor. But if a minor rapes another minor, it's always a boy who's going to be arrested. Even if it was consensual between two minors, the guy would be rapist. If an older girl rapes a younger boy, let's say a 16-year-old rapes an 11-year-old boy, they will arrest the boy and profile him as a rapist. So it's not gender neutral, but that's not my point. My point is that he was raped by an adult woman. He was 17. He was being raped for many years. And in that case, on paper, POCSO is gender neutral. So he believed it isn't, but in his testimony, he mentioned something else. He said that the woman, the teacher, kept telling him that who would believe you that a woman is raping a man? You would end up getting arrested instead. It's only a guy who can rape a woman. That's what made him believe that there is no gender neutral rape law for him. That's why he ended himself, because he believed no one would believe him. But where does that stereotype come from? Men on men rape, men on men crime. How can a woman rape you? These predators are taking advantage of the stereotypes that people like Dhruv are spreading. There are kids like this around India who are taking a look at his videos, and there are people around them who are learning this. And there are predators around them who are using this to tell them that men cannot be raped by women, and that if they're being raped by a woman, nobody would believe them. And Dhruv is helping these predators. Am I wrong? I mean, Professional David, his research compares male and female on basis on their intelligence. It was bashed on. Male and female on basis on their intelligence, on the basis of their intelligence. Okay, it's not. I'll love to take a look. Is there a difference in intelligence between men and women? Send it to me. I'll take a look at that. Anyway, so chat. Now I would like to ask you a question. We have covered stories. We've covered studies, we've covered statistics, we've covered cases. Dhruv Rathee thinks it's only men on men rape. But 78% of the women, 78% of the men who are raped by women. Did I debunk the lie? Chat. Yes? Are there any other viewers? Guys, spam yes in the chat if you think I debunked the lie. He also thinks it's only men who shame other men, but studies say otherwise. So do I get to check one box off? Now we have 3 left, chat. So let's see what else he got. Back to the video. This is for myself. Cool. 3 more. Let me know in chat if there's anything I didn't cover. Maybe I'm biased. Maybe I didn't cover anything. Maybe I gave selective information. Let me know. Psychologist, a profession dominated by 76% female, and majority of them are negative, and shaming them, not believing them. How is it a men on men problem?
देखिए किसी मेल रेप सर्वाइवर के होमोसेक्स रिलेशंस लीगली अलाउड हो जो मेंस रेप इसी सेक्शन में फोर्स्ड के पुलिस ने नई बन ही नहीं है। सही सुना आपने दोस्तों, जब से मोदी सरकार आईपीसी को हटाकर बीएनएस लेकर आई है, मेंस रेप एक गुनाह ही नहीं है हमारे देश में। क्या ही कहोगे यहाँ पर आप, मोदी है तो मुमकिन है। दूसरा मेजर इशू है मेल डिप्रेशन का। जैसे ही एक लड़का बड़ा होता है, उससे एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण चीज छीन ली जाती है, सॉफ्टनेस। जैसे कि सॉफ्ट टॉयज, गुड़िया, परियों की कहानी। उसकी जिंदगी के कलर बॉक्स से कुछ कलर्स को परमानेंटली हटा दिया जाता है, जैसे पिंक और मैजेंटा के कलर्स। ज्योमेट्री बॉक्स हो, कपड़े हो, कमरों की दीवारों पर पेंट हो, बस पिंक
Chat, any prediction? Do you think he's gonna lie about male depression?
लड़कियों का कलर है। लड़कियां सॉफ्ट होती हैं और लड़कों को सॉफ्टनेस से दूर रखना चाहिए। कहा जाता है बॉयज मस्ट बी टफ। लड़कों की कंडीशनिंग ऐसी होती है कि उन्हें वायलेंट फिल्में पसंद हो, एक्शन फिल्में, गैंगस्टर फिल्में, बॉक्सिंग।
This is actually true. I don't have. It is actually. Studies prove that.
फिल्में, WWE देखना पसंद हो, जबकि लड़कियों के लिए कहा जाता है कि उन्हें लवी डवी रोमांटिक फिल्म।
David C. Geary is the name of the paper. Name is the evolution of human sex difference. Okay. Evolution of David Geary. Evolution of human sex difference. Let me note it down somewhere. I'll take a look at that later. David Geary. Evolution of human sex difference. Got you, bro.
फिल्में पसंद होनी चाहिए, उन्हें इमोशनल टीवी सीरियल देखना पसंद होना चाहिए। आप सोचोगे क्या कोई इतनी बड़ी चीज थोड़ी है, ये सिर्फ पसंद नापसंद तक की ही तो बात है। इससे लड़कों को कोई नुकसान थोड़ी होता है। लेकिन ये सॉफ्टनेस छीनने का सिलसिला यहाँ खत्म नहीं होता। लड़कों से उनके आंसू भी छीन लिए जाते हैं, क्योंकि आंसू भी सॉफ्ट होते हैं। कहने को लड़के यारों के यार होते हैं, पक्के दोस्त होते हैं, लेकिन लड़के आपस में कोई दुख साझा करने से बचते हैं।
रोने नहीं दिया जाता।
Here we go. Here we go.
आपकी माँ गुजर गई, लड़कों को रोने नहीं दिया जाता। इमोशनल कैस्ट्रेशन।
2020 में यूके में स्टडी करी गई थी 260 पार्टिसिपेंट्स पर। इसमें पाया गया कि औरतों की फ्रेंडशिप्स में इंटीमेसी एक मेजर कैरेक्टरिस्टिक थी, जबकि आदमियों की दोस्ती में सोशल एक्टिविटीज में एंगेज होना एक।
If you haven't caught on yet, he's going to a second live.
मेजर फीचर था, इसलिए ऐसा जबकि आदमियों की दोस्ती में सोशल एक्टिविटीज में एंगेज होना एक मेजर फीचर था। इसलिए ऐसा देखा गया है कि फीमेल फ्रेंडशिप्स ज्यादा फ्रेजाइल होती हैं, ज्यादा आसानी से टूटती हैं। अगर दो लड़कियां काफी समय से मिल नहीं पाई हैं, बात नहीं कर पाई हैं, तो उन्हें महसूस होता है कि अब वो क्लोज नहीं रही, और अगर ये इंटीमेसी ना हो तो ये दोस्ती भी खत्म हो जाती है। जबकि आदमियों के केस में इसका उल्टा है।
So chat, keep in mind he's claiming right now that women are better at sharing their problems with other women, and this is a cause for depression for men. Okay, and then we'll see what else he
अपने
says.
दोस्तों के साथ
We'll see if he contradicts himself.
कई महीनों तक, इवन कई सालों तक अगर बात भी ना करे, तब भी वो कहेंगे कि हाँ, ये मेरा अच्छा दोस्त है। ऐसी ही एक ये स्टडी करी गई थी 2022 में 153 पार्टिसिपेंट्स पर। यही बात सामने आई कि लड़कों के लिए दोस्ती का मतलब है मस्ती और लड़कियों के लिए इंटीमेसी और सपोर्ट। बहुत सारी ऐसी स्टडीज हैं जिनमें बार बार यही चीजें देखने को मिली हैं। एक 1988 की ये स्टडी है जिसमें बताया गया है कि औरतें दोस्ती में बात करना चाहती हैं, पर्सनल प्रॉब्लम शेयर करना चाहती हैं, जबकि आदमियों के लिए वही कॉमन एक्टिविटीज, साथ में कोई खेल खेलना या फिर इकट्ठे बैठकर शराब पीना या फिर कोई मूवी देखने चले जाना साथ में। सवाल यहाँ पर यह है कि मर्दों के साथ ऐसा
In order to think you have to suppress your emotion, it makes more rational individuals want to truth important. Yeah, I mean, you're talking in a different context, but yeah, that's generally true. But he is talking about a different context when you have problems. Yeah, but I think you might think of a solution approach, right? But yeah, I think you're speaking in a very different context.
पर्सनल प्रॉब्लम शेयर नहीं करते। इसके पीछे कारण है वही इंटरनल डर कि उन्हें सॉफ्ट ना समझ लिया जाए। अगर दोस्त के सामने रो पड़ेंगे तो मजाक उड़ा दिया जाएगा कि ये देखो कैसे लड़कियों की तरह रोता है। मर्द
Yeah, so he's still stereotyping. Men will shame other
आ
men.
जाएगी, इसलिए वो अंदर अंदर घुटते रहते हैं। यही घुटन डिप्रेशन में बदल जाती है और कई बारी मामला आत्महत्या तक पहुंच जाता है।
So let's just take a note about what he said. That women share their problems better than men, and because men don't share, they're more depressed and it turns into self-delete. Keep that in mind, chat.
मेल सुसाइड रेट्स को लेकर जो डेटा है वो बड़ा क्लियर है।
Yeah,
दुनिया
let's
भर
see
में
it.
ये कॉमन ट्रेंड देखा गया है कि आत्महत्या से ज्यादातर मेल्स की डेथ होती है औरतों के कंपैरिजन में। ये ऑलमोस्ट हर देश में वैलिड है। यूके में मेल्स का आत्महत्या का रेट है 15.5 डेथ्स पर 100,000, औरतों के लिए ये है 4.9 पर 100,000। ऑस्ट्रेलिया में औरतों के मुकाबले आदमियों का 3 गुना ज्यादा
Okay, so it's anywhere from 250% to 350% difference between men and women who end their lives.
चांस है आत्महत्या से मरने का। अमेरिका में यही रेट 3.5 गुना है और इंडिया में भी यही कहानी है। एनसीआरबी की रिपोर्ट बताती है कि 2021 में करीब 1,65,000 लोग मारे गए थे आत्महत्या से। इनमें से करीब 1,20,000 मेल्स थे और करीब 45,000 फीमेल्स। WHO के डेटा से हमें पता चलता है कि दुनिया भर में करीब 40% देश ऐसे हैं जहां आदमियों के लिए 15 पर 1 लाख से ज्यादा का सुसाइड रेट है, जबकि औरतों के लिए इतना सुसाइड रेट सिर्फ 1.5% देशों में है दुनिया के। ऐसा नहीं है कि औरतों में डिप्रेशन नहीं होता। इनफैक्ट ज्यादातर देशों में अगर आप डिप्रेशन का डेटा देखोगे तो औरतों में डिप्रेशन डायग्नोसिस के हायर रेट्स हैं।
But how is that possible, Drew? Because women share their problems.
WHO ने स्टडीज को कोट करते हुए बताया कि डिप्रेशन औरतों में आदमियों के मुकाबले 50% ज्यादा।
Yeah, so how's that possible? Drew? They share their problems, Drew.
कॉमन है, लेकिन आत्महत्या से ज्यादातर मेल्स मारे जाते हैं। मेंटल हेल्थ फाउंडेशन ने 2,500 ऐसे लोगों पर सर्वे किया जिन्हें मेंटल हेल्थ प्रॉब्लम्स थी। इनमें से 28% मेल्स ने कहा कि उन्होंने मेडिकल हेल्प लेने की कोशिश नहीं करी है।
Chad, do you see this sneaky guy? Did you see the trick? He claimed, Chad, look closely at his source. See, this is what happens. At this point in his video, he has built up a reputation. So nobody is critically judging him at this point. And the lie is in the plain sight. Chat. Just 1 or 2 minutes ago, he claimed the difference in men and women self-delete is nearly 250 to 350%. And his claim is that this is because men don't share their problems. And that turns into depression and then self-delete. Men don't share their problems. Turns into self-deletes. The difference in which is 250 to 350% as per his own source. However, he then presents a proof that men don't seek help. And in his proof, right here, it says, The difference between men and women not seeking medical help is only 9%, chat. 9%. Somebody, chat, try to explain to me, how does Dhruv think a 9% difference in seeking help is responsible for 250% difference in men ending their lives? Can somebody explain that to me? Because he thinks that is the cause of the problem, men not sharing their problems.
Show Dick some respect.
Anyway, let's see what else he's got.
यही नंबर फीमेल्स के लिए सिर्फ 19%।
Let me know, chat, if I'm debunking the lies right now. We're on the second one.
इन सबसे यही पता चलता है कि आदमी
I didn't even need debunking. He just debunked it himself.
दोस्तों को या फैमिली को तो बताएंगे ही नहीं, लेकिन किसी साइकोथेरेपिस्ट से मेडिकल हेल्प लेने में भी कतराएंगे। जोसेफ हार्पर एक थेरेपिस्ट है।
Yeah, he said it again. Men don't seek help from medical professionals.
Washington Post.
There's only 9% difference, Drew. Are you dumb or something? Seriously, what is your problem, dude? I mean, I just don't know what to even say at this point.
उसमें अपने आर्टिकल में बताते हैं कि उन्होंने औरतों को अपने बेटे या पति को उनके ऑफिस में लिटरली धक्का देकर लाते हुए देखा है। फिर उन्हें स्ट्रगल करना पड़ता है इन आदमियों से उनके इमोशनल इश्यूज के बारे में कुछ भी निकलवाने के लिए।
Okay, we'll see about that in a few seconds.
अक्सर ये सारे मर्द एक ही तरह के जवाब देते हैं थेरेपिस्ट के सामने कि ये कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है, वो तो हमारी बीवी हमें यूं ही ले आई खींच कर, इसलिए हम आ गए, ये कोई बढ़ा चढ़ाकर इस चीज को बता रहे हैं। लेकिन थेरेपिस्ट को बताना भी बात की बात है दोस्तों, असलियत में वो खुद को भी नहीं बताते कि वो डिप्रेस्ड है। समाज के सामने तो खुद को मर्द साबित करना ही है, लेकिन खुद की एक सेल्फ इमेज भी है।
Okay, so it's my problem I'm not sharing because I have ego.
मेंटेन करने का भी प्रेशर है, खुद को भी बताते रहना है कि मैं मर्द हूँ, मैं कभी डिप्रेस नहीं हो सकता, ये सारी फालतू की चीजें होती है। यही कारण है कि ज्यादातर मर्द डिप्रेशन के सिम्टम्स को रिकॉग्नाइज ही नहीं कर पाते, डिनायल मोड में ही रहते हैं, उसे इग्नोर ही करते रहते हैं। आदमी और औरतों में वैसे डिप्रेशन के
So chat, do you think it's true? So right now, what I'm trying to do, chat, is debunk this entire segment. Watch Shweta Gangwar. Does he have a video on this, or are you generally recommending that I should watch him? I've seen some of his videos, especially on Awkward Goat. But I don't like, my problem is I tell you what, my problem is that I don't want to incentivize people who talk about women's problems. As a viewer, right? I think he's a great creator. I respect for him, right? I'd like to work with him at some point, if possible, when we get there. But as a viewer, I would not give my attention to people who, when talking about men's issues, will also talk about women's issues, because I just don't see equilibrium there. Okay, let me explain what I mean by that. So you have majority of people, like you know, of women's rights activists and lobbies who only talk about women, and then you have almost nobody who talks about men's issues, and you have a lot of people in the middle who will say we will talk about both men and women. So at that point, you're just outnumbering us, right? Like, it's the weaker section that needs the attention, not the stronger section that needs even half of the attention from even the neutrals. So my problem with Shweta's content is that one day he'll be talking about criticizing Awkward Goat. Yeah, yay, great. But next day he's shaming men or policing them for slut shaming somebody. Why would I want to see that content? I'm not interested in that, right? But other than that, he's a great creator. But what did you want me to watch from him? Let me know if you have any recommendations.
symptoms भी अलग होते हैं।
So chat.
अक्सर उदास रहती हैं,
So
ज़्यादा रोती हैं।
for people who are here and just joined, so he has this entire segment, Drew, right? Which is that depression is because men don't share their problems, they don't go to psychologists, they don't tell anybody. That turns into depression, and then it ends itself. One of those lies was debunked by himself. There's 250% difference in men and women ending their life, but there is only 9% difference in men and women seeking help. That's as per his own source. But now he's claiming, what is he claiming?
सारी फालतू की चीजें होती बना ही है लेकिन
Yeah, he's continuing to claim that men have a self-image problem. They want to be perceived dominant. They have ego. They have to protect their image. So they don't want to share their problems with the society. What if I could statistically prove that he's lying here? Do I get to check second one of the boxes? You mean the topic should be exclusive? Yeah, no, I'm not saying what he wants to do is like he can show it up, and anybody, any creator can do whatever they want to do with their agency. But I'm saying as a viewer, what do I prefer? I don't want to listen to people who want to talk about women's issues. I want to listen to people who want to talk about men's issues. He's just not a right person for that. As a viewer, dude, you should make more videos. Live will not get enough attention. So be free. Long form videos were a production issue, so I pivoted to shorts and lives because everybody was complaining they want more activity, and I can do lives. It's easy to do that, right, without editing. So that's why we're doing it. I am in parallel working on long forms, but it's just taking a long time. And finally, lives do reach people, but not when I am live. It reaches them afterwards. So let me show you something interesting. This live on Puneet Karana, when we were doing it, there were only 3 to 5 people that were live. After we ended the stream, it had total 100 views, something like that. But YouTube promoted the hell out of it, and it spiked to 1,100 views. People were clicking it a lot. The problem is that none of those people watched the stream because it's a 3.5 hour stream. How can you watch that? They were clicking it, and then they were clicking away within like maybe 1 minute. And I would assume that that's a common pattern because nobody would, even the popular streamers, their live streams would not get watched in WODs. But I think I'm doing it because it might help attract subscribers, increase the growth of the channel, right? Worth investing time in. Right, you can cut from lives. Yeah, you can cut from live. Yeah, that's another. You can cut clips, and we did make a clips channel. It's called Masculinity Rocks Clips. There's one clip there, but yeah, that's a good idea. What happened to your teeth? Please explain. I am interested. I'm going through alignment for the last 1.5 years, so there are these gaps which we have intentionally created. I mean, one tooth was extracted because it was a baby tooth, and then we have to replace it with implant. The other gap is created to match this one. And since you're interested, like I want to move on from this fast, but just since you're interested, you see this? This is not a broken tooth. These are 2 baby teeth. They're so tiny, and that's also something we have to extract and replace with an implant. So I have to finish the alignment first, and then they will place the implant, so I have to do that for a while. Anyway, not to digress. Why is the music playing? To keep interest and attention. You should have 2 channels just so that you don't get report type of thing. No, that's not necessary. I think YouTube, if they delete one channel, they don't let you on the platform. You can create other accounts will be deleted. Okay, chat. Let's get back to the topic. If I prove him wrong with studies that men do reach out for help, have I checked second one of the boxes? And I'm gonna give you proof for exactly that. Sorry, Drew. I think you're in trouble. Chat. So here's what we're gonna do in this study. We're gonna first ask the psychologist. No, not psychologist. We're first gonna take a look at people who run mental health helpline. Okay, and what are their testimonies of what percentage of their calls do you think are men versus women, chat? Any opinions? What percentage of mental health helplines get calls from men versus women? Because Dhruv thinks that men have ego, they have self-image problem, they don't reach out for help. So what percentage of calls to the mental health helpline are men versus women?
We're getting the biggest.
I have receipts. Chat, what you're looking at, if you recognize this face, this is a feminist media, if I can call it that. Is that fair? Their guests here are Nirja and Ananya Birla, somebody who started a mental health helpline in 2020. And what do these two women think they're saying?
Of psychiatry, I'll just read out that quote again. Says women internalize mental health issues. Men
60% callers, and that is really telling. And I think the way it is panning out, people then started getting scared about how are they going to get reintegrated back into society when the pandemic started, when the lockdown started lifting. Generally people have been very scared about employment. And then of course, the kids have been suffering a lot because not having any social interaction is a very huge
Bro, did you do that? Do what?
Sort of a very huge blip in the development of children. So, we're seeing a lot of
Chat, an interview on a feminist media by two women who started a mental health helpline.
Cases coming up there. So it's been quite crazy actually. And I think in all of this, what really stood out for me is that when we launched the helpline, and even now we continue.
I think the information that you're trying to provide is not reaching to the right audience, to the masses. Do something about it. Work on your marketing. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm trying my best, bro. I have a full-time job. I try my best to do as much as possible. Pull up feminist media. Damn. Yeah. So what if I was able to provide evidence to my opposition by using the opposition itself?
Get more callers coming from the male gender than female. So about.
Excuse me, repeat that one more time.
Continue to get more callers coming from the male gender than female. So about 68% of our callers are males. And that is really
68% of our callers are men, chat. 68%. But Dhruv Rathee thinks that men don't reach out. Men don't just talk about their problems. 68% chat are men who are calling the mental health helpline. But Dhruv Rathee has his own agenda. And it doesn't end here. It's so funny. You should cut the clip. Yeah, when I get time, I will cut the clip. I was actually thinking about making a video on this, but whatever is easier, I'll do that. But it doesn't end here, chat. Government of India has a helpline called Kiran. How many of their callers do you think are men versus women, chat? Call-free mental health rehabilitation helpline Kiran. Launched in 13 languages by Government of India. You can see the chat, right? Okay. What percentage of Kiran GOI helpline are men? Men and boys made nearly 70% of calls to government mental health helpline in 8 months, data show. I'm sorry, Dhruv. Were you saying something, Dhruv?
तो हमारी बीवी हमें यूं ही ले आई खींच कर, इसलिए हम आ गए। ये कोई बढ़ा चढ़ा कर इस चीज को बता रहे हैं, लेकिन थेरेपिस्ट को बताना भी बाद की बात है दोस्तों। असलियत में वो खुद को भी नहीं बताते कि वो डिप्रेस्ड है।
Oh really? But 70% of the calls, Dhruv, are by men. That's a government helpline, Dhruv. I didn't say it. It's the government helpline. So how is it that men are men's own problem? How is it that men are not sharing? If 70% of the self-deletes is perpetrated by men, and 70% of the helplines callers are men, what percentage of men do you think are not reaching out for help? Where is the absence? In fact, it's so bad. Chat, it is so bad that not only are men calling mental health helplines by 70%, they're even calling women's helplines. They're so desperate for help. And once I debunk this, I will explain to you what the real problem is. Because Dhruv Rathee would not say it. Here. Chat. Raped, tortured by wives, helpline for Indian men get 100 calls to report abuse daily. However, Faruqi, a human rights consultant at the Delhi Women's Helpline chat, told Mail Today that they receive calls from men also. Every month we receive at least 200 calls from men. There are calls related to false dowry cases, but we direct them to the other helpline. Let me ask you something, chat. As a man, if you're not buying undergarments, why would you go into a bra and panty store? Because Dhruv apparently thinks that men are not looking for help. Then why are they calling women's helpline? Would you ever go into a bra and panty store if you were not looking for undergarments? You would not go into a bra and panty store even if you were looking for undergarments. The only reason why you would go into a bra and panty store is if you didn't have a brief and underwear store for men. That is the only reason you would need to go in a bra and panty store, in hopes that there are some briefs and underwears there. So men are so desperate for help that they're even reaching out to women's helpline. But Dhruv thinks that men don't reach out for help enough. I don't know how that makes sense. So now, let me know if I debunked the second lie. However, one question remains unanswered. What do you think is the real problem that men end their lives 250% more than women? So, if they call helpline 70%, clearly not that they're not reaching out for help. So what could be the reason that they end up self-deleting themselves despite reaching out for help? I think I might have an answer. But just to strengthen my evidence that men do reach for help quickly, 91% of the middle-aged men chat. This is a study by Manchester University. 91% of middle-aged men had been in contact with at least one frontline service or agency, ranging from within 1 week of death, 38%, to more than 3 months prior to that, 49%. 91% were in contact with a frontline service agency, still ended up killing themselves. 91%. 38% of those were in touch with the agency in a week prior to that, but still ended up deleting themselves. Why do you think that? This is the research by Deborah Powney published on the Tin Man. It says she studied 147 male participants. 81% of surveyed male survivors had told others about the abuse. But Dhruv Rathee thinks men don't share their abuse. But 81% share their abuse. 26% of surveyed male survivors were still in the abusive relationship. Why do you think that happens? I would lose my kids to protect my children. I have nowhere to go. My life is completely controlled. I still love her. I have hope. I feel ashamed. What does this tell you? Why do you think men are ending their lives? Here is your answer. Warning. There is a S word in there, and I need to censor it. If you're ignorant, how can you see? Yeah, some people are intentionally blind. Intentionally blind because they have to spread an agenda. But I have to mark one of my goals.
So the number one thing that correlates with men.
I have to mute it for a second. Okay, so he said number one thing that correlates with male self-delete is
not depression. And this is super scary. There's one study I saw recently that suggests that 50% of men who kill themselves have no history.
The person you're listening to is a psychologist. His name is Alok, I believe. Alok what? Alok Kanogia, American psychiatrist.
Or evidence of mental illness. I believe the statistic in my clinical practice because I know what depression looks like. I know what bipolar disorder looks like. And half
Make your goal, bro.
I work with at least are not actually mentally ill. See, mental illness means a pathology of the mind, which means that the mind is malfunctioning. Most of the suicidal men that I work with, their mind isn't malfunctioning. They genuinely have a life that is no longer worth living.
I would lose my kids to protect my children. I have nowhere to go.
They're looking at things and objectively realizing that there's no way out of this situation.
I would lose my kids to protect my children. I have nowhere to go.
So they turn to suicide. So I know
he needs to stop saying the S word. My stream would get censored.
It's kind of like a very controversial statement, but I think that's what my clinical practice has shown, and there's some research to even back that up.
But Dhruv Rathee doesn't think that. So, yeah, we're gonna mark that goal. I think I have shown every statistics possible to debunk him. One moment, chat. Just give me a second. Oh yeah, so he said something interesting here, right? He said, most men that I work with have no history of mental illness, have no depression. They just don't have a solution. Is that true? Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. Yeah, we don't know. We're just gonna move on. Yeah, so I'm just gonna mark one of my goals. Mark your... yeah, I think I read that. Hold on one second. So I have debunked 2 out of the 4 lies. That means I only have 2 more to go. Okay, let's see what else Dhruv Rathee has.
Show Dick some respect.
Oh, shoot.
मर्द डिप्रेशन के सिम्टम्स को रिकॉग्नाइज ही नहीं कर पाते, डिनायल मोड में ही रहते हैं, उसे इग्नोर ही करते रहते हैं।
Yeah, because we make 70% of the
डिप्रेशन
calls.
के सिम्टम्स भी अलग होते हैं। औरतें अक्सर उदास रहती हैं, ज्यादा रोती हैं, लेकिन आदमी समाज के सामने उदास नहीं दिख सकते, रो नहीं सकते। इसलिए ऐसी सिचुएशंस में आदमियों में गुस्सा और चिड़चिड़ापन बढ़ जाता है। कई लोग सब्सटेंस अब्यूज और अल्कोहल अब्यूज की तरफ चल पड़ते हैं। भले ही शराब पीने से नर्व्स रिलैक्स हो जाएंगी, नींद
Like legitimately nobody knows what you're
आ
talking
जाएगी,
about.
लेकिन एक्चुअली में शराब डिप्रेशन
That was distraction, bro. Thanks, bro.
लड़कों के लिए सॉफ्टनेस पर ये बैन करियर चॉइस पर भी पहुंच जाता है।
Okay, next segment. Now we're talking about careers. Maybe you will tell the third lie right here.
करियर्स लड़कों के लिए इतना स्टिग्मेटाइज कर दिए जाते हैं कि सोसाइटी की बात तो दूर, लड़के
That
खुद
is
ही
true.
उन करियर्स में जाने की नहीं सोचेंगे। इसी बेसिस पर लड़कियों को भी प्रॉब्लम्स झेलनी पड़ती हैं कि हार्ड और टफ टाइप करियर लड़कियों के लिए नहीं होते, लेकिन फॉर्चुनेटली लड़कियों के लिए सिचुएशन बदल रही है।
Next video.
1988 में सुरेखा यादव इंडिया की पहली फीमेल ट्रेन ड्राइवर बनी। 1993 में वसंत कुमारी एशिया की पहली बस ड्राइवर बनी। साल 2000 में ओलंपिक्स में वुमेन्स वेट लिफ्टिंग इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया और उसी साल भारत की कर्णम मलेश्वरी ने ओलंपिक ब्रॉन्ज मेडल जीता। 2006 में हर्षिनी कान्हेकर देश की पहली वुमेन फायर फाइटर बनी। 2018 में अवनी चतुर्वेदी फाइटर जेट
Yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you for bragging so much.
उड़ाने वाली पहली इंडियन वुमेन बनी। नवंबर 2021 में आर्मी ने शॉर्ट सर्विस कमीशन वाली 557 वुमेन ऑफिसर्स को परमानेंट कमीशन दी। ट्रेडिशनली ये जो स्टेम करियर्स थे, स्टेम यानी साइंस, टेक्नोलॉजी, इंजीनियरिंग और मैथमेटिक्स, इन्हें औरतों के लिए टैबू माना जाता था। लेकिन आज के दिन हमारे पास उदाहरण है कल्पना चावला और सुनीता विलियम्स जैसे, जो स्पेस में गई। 2021 में इंडियन मैथमेटिशियन नीना गुप्ता को अल्जेब्रिक ज्योमेट्री में उनके काम के लिए रामानुजन प्राइज मिला। स्कूलों में भी अब फीमेल साइंस मैथ्स टीचर होना अब इतना रेयर नहीं रहा है। औरतें धीरे धीरे अब उन सभी एरियाज में आ रही हैं जिन्हें पहले मेल स्पेसिफिक माना जाता था। इसके लिए औरतों को एडमायर किया जा रहा है और उन्हें इनकरेज भी किया जा रहा है, लेकिन मेल्स के केस में कोई पूछ तक भी नहीं रहा। कोई ये सवाल तक नहीं पूछ रहा कि आदमी नर्सरी टीचर क्यों नहीं बन सकते। यूके के प्री स्कूल्स में केवल 2% टीचर्स मेल है। यूएस ब्यूरो ऑफ लेबर स्टैटिस्टिक्स की 2019 की रिपोर्ट केवल 3% प्री स्कूल टीचर्स मेल है। नॉर्वे जैसे देशों में
And why do you think that is?
परसेंटेज थोड़ी सी ज्यादा 10% पर है। कुछ लोगों का कहना है कि प्री स्कूल में मेल टीचर्स का होना चाइल्ड अब्यूज का रिस्क बढ़ा सकता है। ये कंसर्न पूरी तरीके
A stereotype, by the way, Drew, that you peddled earlier in the video, that men grape other men. Men are rapists. Women can't be rapists. So obviously, when they go to preschool, Drew, they look at men as a threat because having women, they think cannot commit rape, but men would sexually assault them.
से
You are literally the part of the problem that you're complaining about, Drew.
जायज नहीं है, लेकिन क्या इसका समाधान ये हुआ कि कुछ पोटेंशियल ऑफेंडर्स के डर से सभी मेल्स को स्टिग्मेटाइज कर दिया जाए?
Gee, I wonder who's doing that, Drew. Gee, Drew.
जरा सोच कर देखो, अगर आप कोई नौकरी
Yeah, that's what we're all wondering. He's blabbering, isn't he? Yeah, he just, the problem with people who want to drive agenda, they cannot track their own inconsistencies. 5 minutes later, he said something. 5 minutes earlier, he said something. 5 minutes later, he's saying completely opposite of what he was saying earlier.
करने जाते हो और जॉब इंटरव्यू में आपसे कहा जाता है कि अरे आप तो लड़के हो, आप एक पोटेंशियल चाइल्ड अब्यूजर हो सकते हो, इसलिए आपको ये नौकरी ही नहीं मिलेगी, आपको कंसिडर ही नहीं किया जाएगा। इसका सीधे तौर पर समाधान है थरो बैकग्राउंड चेक्स। एरन एक प्री स्कूल टीचर है। slate.com के इस आर्टिकल में बताते हैं कि फीमेल टीचर्स किसी बच्चे को किसी हेजिटेशन के बिना गोदी में बिठा लेते हैं, लेकिन मेल टीचर्स ऐसा करने में हिचकते हैं। एरन सजेस्ट करते हैं कि इस पर क्लियर रिटन पॉलिसीज हों। एजुकेटर्स और स्टूडेंट
It's a female uprising video, so far, not gonna lie. Yep.
में किस तरह का टच अलाउड है और किस तरीके का नहीं, ताकि सभी के लिए सिचुएशन कंफर्टेबल बन सके। हर एक प्री स्कूल क्लासरूम में एक मेल टीचर और एक फीमेल टीचर होना भी एक अच्छा विचार है। ये केवल उन मेल्स के राइट्स का सवाल नहीं है जो प्री स्कूल टीचर बनना चाहते हैं, बल्कि ये स्टूडेंट्स की इमोशनल डेवलपमेंट के लिए भी बहुत जरूरी है।
So I agree.
साइकोलॉजिकल
I agree, and this is where now he's gonna go into his third lie right now. So I do agree that so I think early childhood especially is very feminized. That's why we end up having so many simps, because like they're being raised by women at home, and then they go to preschool and all the teachers are female. Elementary school, it's all female, right? Up until they get secondary, they don't even get exposure to men. and they end up having a lot of biases. This is why women have in-group bias, men have out-group bias, because they're socially programmed by women to do that. So I do agree that men should be in preschools and also in female-dominated spaces. But why do you think they're not there?
स्टडीज ने इसी तरफ इशारा किया है कि अगर हमें एक जेंडर इक्विटेबल सोसाइटी बनानी है तो मेल्स को केयरिंग रोल्स में एंटर करना और एक्सेप्ट किए जाना बहुत जरूरी है। प्री स्कूल मेल टीचर्स बच्चों के लिए एक मैस्कुलिन रोल मॉडल्स का काम कर सकते हैं, दिखा सकते हैं कि मर्दों में भी धैर्य और सहानुभूति जैसे वर्च्यूज होने चाहिए। इसके अलावा कुछ रिसर्चर्स का एक अलग आर्ग्यूमेंट है कि क्लासरूम में दोनों मेल और फीमेल टीचर्स उसी टीचर वाले रोल में है तो बच्चे उन्हें इंटरचेंजेबली बिहेव करते हुए देखेंगे और इससे उनके दिमाग पर एक अच्छा इंप्रेशन पड़ेगा। यही मुद्दा जो है स्कूल से हटकर परिवार में भी देखने को मिलता है। कई बच्चे ऐसे होते हैं जिनके माता पिता का डिवोर्स हो रखा है और वो अपने पिता से दूर रहते हैं। कई बच्चों के फादर्स अर्निंग मेंबर वाले ट्रेडिशनल रोल में बहुत बिजी रहते हैं, बच्चों के लिए समय नहीं मिल पाता। और फिर कुछ पिता ऐसे होते हैं जिन्हें लगता है कि उनका रोल तभी शुरू होता है जब बच्चों को डांटने की जरूरत पड़ी हो।
Yeah, fathers are just absent, but whose fault is that?
सब सिचुएशंस में मेल प्री स्कूल टीचर की इंपॉर्टेंस और भी ज्यादा बढ़ जाती है। चेन्नई के अब्बू सिद्दीकी एक अच्छे खासे पैसे वाली इंजीनियरिंग की नौकरी कर रहे थे। एक दिन उनका मन किया कि छोटे बच्चों को पढ़ाना है, तो नौकरी छोड़कर उन्होंने एक मॉन्टेसरी ट्रेनिंग इंस्टीट्यूट में इनरोल कर लिया। वहां 40 औरतों की क्लास में वो इकलौते आदमी थे। ट्रेनिंग कंप्लीट होने के बाद जब वो नौकरी की तलाश करने लगे तो किसी भी स्कूल ने उन्हें नौकरी देने से मना कर दिया।
Okay, so men face discrimination in profession. Wonderful, Dhruv. So far you're doing good.
सिर्फ इसलिए क्योंकि वो एक आदमी थे। तब जाकर उन्होंने अपने भाई के साथ मिलकर खुद का ही प्री स्कूल शुरू।
Wonder how many reservations we have, chat. Wonder how many reservations the DEI programs had for men in female-dominated spaces. Wonder how many, because like we have reservations for women in border security forces, CISF. A lot of the armed forces have that. Central Police Force, whatever it's called in India, they have 30% reservation for women. So how much reservation? We have reservations for women in STEM as well. How many reservations do we have for men in healthcare or nursing or preschool? Do we have any reservations?
शुरू किया ऑरेंज ट्री मॉन्टेसरी स्कूल। वो कहते हैं कि जब बच्चे किसी
Zero, I guess. Yeah. No, you know what's ironic, Hande, is they have discrimination for men in no, I mean like not organic discrimination, systemic discrimination in nursing. Like, wasn't there I remember seeing something a few years ago where there was an order to prevent men from coming in nursing. I think it was AIMS that was challenged in court. 80% women reservation. Yeah, here you go. An institution, AIMS, has brought in 80-20 reservation policy. This rule is based on stereotypes and prejudices that nursing is a feminine profession, that men cannot perform the same duties. So they have reservation for men. They have reservations for women in male-dominated fields. They have reservations for women in female-dominated fields. So who do you think is a victim here of discrimination? Wonder why they're not becoming healthcare, physicians, psychologists, preschool, because they're just not allowed to enter. More than 50% women reservation in nursing attendance post permissible. Supreme Court to examine. You know what's worse, chat? This is not an isolated incident. I can't remember a state where this was actually passed in one of the states. I have it somewhere in my documents. Let me see if I can find it. I think it was Chhattisgarh, if I remember correctly. I wasn't able to find. Give me one sec. Let me see if I can just Google it. Chhattisgarh nursing discrimination against men. Yeah, okay. They had 100% quota for women, struck down. Good thing, at least they're doing something good. Protest by men's union in nursing for discrimination. Chat, I can't remember where it was, which city. Let me just close this for, yeah, I don't know which city it was in, but there was actually a protest by men because they were being discriminated in nursing profession. Anyway, let's get back to what we were doing. Only 5 watching. Sup, my fellow viewers. Hey, Margarine. Sup, bro. It seems your TTS donation link is broken. Really? What are you getting? I just set it up. I thought it was working. Let me check. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure this out. Seems so you should make members only and something like WhatsApp or Telegram, like something. So I have a Discord link that is pinned, that I just started. Figure this out. Oh, damn. Yikes. I didn't know this was not working. Okay, let me fix that real quick. But yeah, so I cannot, Margarine, I cannot, what did you say? I forgot. Members only, right? Yeah, I cannot make members only yet because YouTube has a benchmark that you have to cross to be able to monetize, and I've not crossed that benchmark yet. But what I can do is have TTS via Stream Elements, and I think there is just something wrong with the link. No, it's working. I think it's just the wrong link that is pasted in the chat. So give me a sec. Okay. Okay, let's see if this is working. I don't know what's happening, honestly. What? It's crazy. Oh. I think I found a problem. It's just deleting half of it. Okay, it should work now. What? Remove. Oh my god. Oh, please tell me it's working now. Okay, it's working now. And I'm gonna delete this. Cool. Okay, where were we? Yeah.
आदमी को नर्सरी राइम गाते हुए, कहानी सुनाते हुए, ड्राइंग बनाते हुए देखेंगे,
Men
तो
in
उन्हें
nursing
एहसास होगा
schools,
कि टीचिंग
preschools.
एक जेंडर न्यूट्रल प्रोफेशन है। ऐसा ही प्रोफेशन है थेरेपिस्ट का। इंडिया में एक सर्वे के अनुसार सिर्फ 8.8% लड़के ही साइकियाट्रिस्ट बनना चाहते हैं। अमेरिका में साइकोलॉजी में डॉक्टरल डिग्री लेने में औरतें 3:1 से आगे हैं। मेल थेरेपिस्ट की सख्त कमी है, क्योंकि खुद का दुख साझा करने में अगर दिक्कत होती है तो दूसरों का दुख कैसे सुनेंगे, कैसे मिटाएंगे। वही धैर्य और वही सहानुभूति यहाँ भी चाहिए। यही कहानी नर्सिंग के करियर की भी है। नर्स शब्द का जब मैं इस्तेमाल करता हूँ, आपके दिमाग में एक फीमेल की इमेज आती होगी। मेल्स को अलग से मेल नर्स कहकर बुलाना पड़ता है। 2021 में अमेरिका में सिर्फ 13.3% रजिस्टर्ड नर्स मेल्स थे। 2019 में यूके में सिर्फ 11% नर्सिंग स्टाफ मेल था। जापान में सिर्फ 4.9%, चाइना में सिर्फ 1% और इंडिया में सिर्फ 20% नर्स मेल थे। बाकी देशों से बेहतर है, लेकिन यहाँ भी इतना बड़ा जेंडर गैप है। करियर के सॉफ्टनेस वाली जो इमेज है, ये मेल्स के लिए अकेला ऑब्स्टिकल नहीं है।
Here I think a lie is coming.
चाहिए। बेरोजगार होना तो एक आदमी के लिए पाप जैसा है। कोई लड़की डेट नहीं करेगी, कोई शादी का रिश्ता नहीं आएगा। 2012 में इट्स जस्ट लंच नाम की एक डेटिंग सर्विस ने एक स्टडी की।
So he's actually moving on. I thought he was gonna say this is also men's problem. What did I miss here? No? Chat, props to him. He didn't blame men for this. I was prepared. Oh, nah. That we need to give him the props. That was good. He didn't blame men for that. Nah, that was good. But I do have something to show you. I guess I over-prepared. So I think then I have my goals incorrect. There are only 3 lies and not 4 lies. However, check this out. Chat. Actually, let me just Google it so you know where I'm going. Experiences of men in female-dominated fields. Reddit. So chat, here's what I'm doing, okay? Just so you know how men are treated in female-dominated jobs. And that would explain why they don't want to go there. Among other causes. There's always multiple causes, but we're just looking at one for now, okay? So, I'm going to ask men. This is a Reddit where you can ask questions to men. Community is men, right? So what are they asking? As a male in a female-dominated work field, how has your experience been? Men who work in women-dominated spaces and offices, what is your experience? Men who work in female-dominated... Let's open all of them. Okay, let's just take a look at a few of them and what these guys are saying. What do you think their responses are going to be? Does anybody want to take any guesses? Now, internal server message, when I press PayPal, it accepts only PayPal, no PhonePe. I don't think they give me an option for PhonePe. And if it has a server, I guess just give it up for now. I'll check it later. But I appreciate you trying to help. I'll figure out later. It's new, you know? So, chat. Any guesses? This has 642 comments. This has 688 comments. This has 53 comments. Does anybody want to take any guesses of how men are treated in female-dominated spaces? When women go in male-dominated spaces, they complain about sexual harassment, discrimination, lower pay. So what happens to men who try to enter female-dominated spaces? Males want high-paying job, that's why they don't go into female-dominated space. Yeah, I agree with you, that's one of the causes. I mean, it's not an absolute, but is majorly covers up. Yes, I agree with you. Want high-pay job to get women. Yeah, but don't you think that not only just reservations, we also give women higher pay to enter STEM fields? Like, wasn't there there was this something that was going viral last year where majority of the tech companies had announced the median income for men and women, and median income for women was higher than men in all of these tech companies in India, because they're incentivizing women to enter male-dominated fields. And then then there was another news where I think there was some announcement of women picked by Microsoft, etc., from their colleges, and it was majority women that had top salaries. Has anybody seen that? It's not complete info too. One high paid. It's not complete info for what? Median income men versus women, Indian tech companies. Women in tech earn 7% more than men on average, but men snag highest salaries. This is what I'm talking about. Wasn't this released recently? I don't know if you can see it. Delivery. Number of employees, 12,000. Median wage, 2.8 lakh. Number of employees, 709. Median wage, 4.2 lakhs. But where is the men and women figure in this? Women are paid more than men in India's listed unicorns. They're going into male-dominated fields here. They have more male employees than female employees. Here it is. Okay, I found it. It says, no, this is the same thing. Where is the men and women comparison? Yo, oh, this is male and female. Oh, I am so stupid. I am so stupid. This whole time I was looking at it. What? What the fuck? I mean, doctors are female, so they can be treated as exception, and your point is off diversity hiring? Yeah, my point is of diversity hiring. Like, yeah, you would have to give reservations and benefits for men to enter women spaces, right? If you look at it, the median wage for delivery for men is 2.8 lakh. For women, it's 4.8 lakhs, 4.2 lakhs. And they're saying that the majority of their employees are men, but they're paying women higher than men. And the similar thing was pulled out for colleges that picked Microsoft, etc. They give much higher salaries to women. There's a screenshot for that floating around as well. But then when men enter women's spaces, these are their experiences. The office is mostly middle-aged women though, who as whole are very sweet and kind. But 9 times out of 10, if I go to the 3rd floor men's room around 2 p.m. take a dump, I'm greeted with blue clean. This is actually a good experience. Next. Wasn't one, lots of discussions about... Okay, so just so you know, the question being answered, men who work in women-dominated fields, office, how is it? I wasn't one. Lots of discussion about creating more opportunities for women, even though they all ran the department. I work in a max female state prison. The sexual harassment I face weekly is unreal. My old company was like 98% women, only 5 to 6 men in the entire 125% company. And it was nursing, what Dhruv Rathee is talking about. There was zero accountability, passive aggression was turned up to 11, office drama was insane, it was just a bunch of petty bitching, backstabbing, and it was coming from literally everyone. Anytime I sent an email, there would be 6 people pissed off about something. There were 4 people named Karen at this company, and yes, they were Karens, save for the CFO, she was actually terrific. It's pretty cliquey and toxic. Let's go to the next thread. I interned in a female-dominated office once, about 8 females to just me. I was married. We talked about 2 things constantly: food and sex. At my regular job, they beat sexual harassment training into you. I get over to my internship, and they want to discuss boobs, sexual positions. The last time my wife and I went at it, you name it. We discuss sex less in college. Then I went to bars with the guys. Yeah, this is how men are treated in female-dominated spaces. Working in a mostly female-dominated environment, There's a lot of drama. Advice would not be to say anything about any coworkers that you wouldn't say to their face. I worked at a PR agency for a while. It was a small company of 16 people, only 2 guys, me and the web developer. They would openly talk about guys in the office, if a guy was hot or not. Whenever a delivery guy would come to drop something off, they would spend the next hour talking about if he was hot or not. If a client came for a meeting, they would talk about his attractiveness. So, girls' locker room talk. Chad, why do you think when Men Will Be Men Imperial Blue ads were released, right? They were like, oh, it's so toxic, because there was one of the ads where men objectified women. I'm not gonna bother finding it, I think it'll take me too long. But women do the same thing in their spaces. Let me just see if I can find it. Imperial Blue Men Will Be Men Office Objectification. Nah, this is not the one. This is not the one. This is not the one. Yeah, this one. Yeah, this one. But that's how female spaces also work, chat. But nobody talks about them. That's what this guy is saying. Make comments about my body, my arms, etc. Most of the time it was innocent. I work in a primary school in the UK out, 35 plus staff. We have 4 men, we all work in the oldest years. I got told off putting my hand on child's shoulder once, cause if parents see, they might start asking questions. But then I walk into a classroom and my coworker, I'm assuming he's talking about a woman, same age as me, has the same kid, sat in her lap, giving her a cuddle. I'm not saying I want to do that at all, but I hate feeling like I'm constantly being watched at work. He's being profiled. Thanks to Dhruv Rathee, he's peddling the same stereotypes, right? I think we should start talking about men problem, bro, because from a philosophical and historical point of view, what happened in Korea would happen with 100 times intensity in India, provided that you can have the same amount of media. And that would be much more bad for the females. Read the upper 2 messages. Yeah, it's just, yeah, I agree with you, but I think you need the same amount of media that men got in their favor in Korea or in US. And I think if we can achieve that, then yes, I think same thing can be replicated here. But yeah, I think, Chad, you get my point, right? So there's discrimination for men in female dominated spaces as well. Dhruv didn't lie about it. I think I need to change my goal from 4 to 3. There are total only 3 lies. But he also didn't explain the problem. But let's just take a look at his next segment. His next segment is dating and marriages. And I know for sure there is a lie here.
होना तो एक आदमी के लिए पाप जैसा है. कोई लड़की डेट नहीं करेगी, कोई शादी का रिश्ता नहीं आएगा. 2012 में इट्स जस्ट लंच नाम की एक डेटिंग सर्विस ने एक स्टडी की जिसमें पाया कि 66% मेल्स ने कहा कि वो एक बेरोजगार औरत को डेट कर सकते हैं. लेकिन यही चीज जब औरतों से पूछी गई तो सिर्फ 25% औरतें एक बेरोजगार आदमी को डेट करने के लिए ओपन थी. जब डेटिंग के लिए ही
And that's where I think he acknowledged that women discriminate. So far so good.
कोई राजी नहीं है तो शादी तो बहुत दूर की बात है। सोशियोलॉजिस्ट अलका बासु और स्नेहा कुमार ने एनएफएचएस डेटा को एग्जामिन किया और अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट और डिलेड मैरिज में एक क्लियर कट कनेक्शन देखने को मिला। शादी के लिए सिर्फ एक एम्प्लॉयड आदमी काफी नहीं है, बल्कि एक ऐसा आदमी होना चाहिए जो ज्यादा कमाता हो। जर्नल ऑफ मैरिज एंड फैमिली में कुछ साल पहले एक स्टडी पब्लिश हुई थी जिसमें पता चला कि भले ही औरतें पढ़ी लिखी हो गई हों, कमाने लग गई हों, जेंडर बैरियर्स टूट रहे हों, लेकिन ज्यादातर औरतों को एक ऐसा हस्बैंड चाहिए जो उनसे ज्यादा कमाता हो। ये एक बहुत ही परसिस्टेंट डिमांड है और बात केवल औरतों की डिमांड की नहीं है, बहुत से मेल्स खुद ही इस चीज से कंफर्टेबल महसूस नहीं करते।
Here we go. Oh, it's also men.
यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ बाथ की एक स्टडी में 6000 मैरिड कपल से बात की गई। पता चला कि मेल्स को स्ट्रेस होने लगता है अगर उनकी वाइफ उनसे ज्यादा कमाने लगे तो। इसीलिए फीमेल्स का प्री स्कूल टीचर और नर्सिंग के करियर में होना
So there are 4 lies. He just pivoted.
उनसे ज्यादा कमाने लगे तो। इसीलिए फीमेल्स का प्री स्कूल टीचर और नर्सिंग के करियर में होना सही है, क्योंकि उनकी भी थोड़ी एस्पिरेशन है कि वो वर्किंग हो। लेकिन मेल्स का इतने लो पेइंग करियर्स में होना समाज को रास नहीं आता। फीमेल नर्स के लिए अनक्वेश्चनेबल रिस्पेक्ट है लोगों की, लेकिन मेल नर्स को देखकर लोग कहते हैं कि डॉक्टर
I agree, Mr. Banerjee.
नहीं बन पाया क्या। मेल प्री स्कूल टीचर को देखकर लोग कहते हैं कि ये केजी के बच्चों को क्या
Chat, he's back. He's back with stereotypes.
पढ़ा रहा है। सेकेंडरी स्कूल
Chat, I think I debunked it. Didn't I debunk it? I was just one step ahead of this guy. He's saying it's only men who shame other men for becoming school teachers or nursing or entering female-dominated jobs. I was just one step ahead, and I just showed you that when men were asked about their experiences in female-dominated spaces, you read it just 2 minutes ago, right? What are their top 3 complaints? Sexual harassment, locker room talk, profiling, and it's being done by women. If you're entering a female-dominated space, right, chat, you're surrounded by women. So how do you think men can have sexist attitude towards you if men are not even there? It's the women. He's directly contradicting the evidence.
टीचर नहीं बन पाया क्या, जबकि ये नजरिया बहुत गलत है। सेकेंडरी स्कूल टीचर हो या केजी टीचर, डॉक्टर हो या नर्स हो, स्किल सेट्स अलग अलग हैं, चैलेंजेस अलग अलग हैं। सभी प्रोफेशंस का अपना मजा है। अब जरा सोच कर देखिए दोस्तों, जब लो पेइंग करियर चुनना ही आदमी के लिए इतना मुश्किल है, तो फिर आदमी का होम मेकर बनना, घर पर काम करना कितना मुश्किल होगा।
अपनी माँ जैसा बनना चाहता हूँ।
कौन थी तेरी मॉम यार?
She was a housewife.
पागल हो गए हो तुम? मर्द हो तुम। अगर भूल गए हो तो अंदर जाकर चड्डी उतार के एक बार चेक कर लो।
आपने बहुत सारी औरतों को देखा होगा जो हाउसवाइफ्स के तौर पर काम करती है, लेकिन आज तक आपने किसी हाउस हस्बैंड को देखा है? औरतें बच्चों को रेस करने के लिए करियर में ब्रेक ले लेती हैं।
Yeah, but they also get benefits like alimony or maintenance. So like, if a guy is a homemaker, are you gonna give him 50% of their income at divorce? Because standards are very different for guys. Like even if they make less income, they're asked to pay the maintenance. And they say like there's a high court precedent where it will promote idleness for men if we gave them maintenance. He just doesn't bring that up.
होनी भी चाहिए, लेकिन अगर एक आदमी ऐसा करना चाहे,
like it's a legal barrier to entry, right? Like if I said, yeah, you're not allowed to vote and you didn't show up to vote, then is it your problem that you didn't show up to vote? Or is it that you don't have a legal right to vote? So like, you're just not allowed to. And I think it's the same problem with homemaking. They just don't have a right to be a homemaker because they don't get any benefits like women do.
Full-time dad बनना चाहे तो क्या उसके पास?
However, I think I would get to check third lie that I already debunked about the professions. But then we'll talk about the fourth one, which he's going over right now, which he thinks that, men themselves don't want women to make more money than them.
समाज की
Do you think that's true?
प्राइवेट जॉब की या किसी सरकारी नौकरी की, ये जो चाइल्ड केयर लीव है, ये सिर्फ औरतों के लिए होती है। सिर्फ कुछ गिनी चुनी डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज में ही आदमियों का चाइल्ड केयर लीव पर जाना एक्सेप्ट किया जाता है। वॉरेन फारेल एक अमेरिकन पॉलिटिकल साइंटिस्ट है जो मेंस इश्यूज और वुमेन्स इश्यूज पर 7 किताबें लिख चुके हैं। अपनी टेडेक्स टॉक में बताते हैं कि एक शख्स एक दिन उनके पास आए और उनको शुक्रिया कहा। वॉरेन के मेंस ग्रुप से उन्हें हिम्मत मिली थी। उन्होंने काम के प्रेशर में अपनी बीवी और बच्चों को इग्नोर किया था। डिवोर्स हो गया, दूसरी शादी हुई, उस शादी से बच्चा हुआ। अब वो चाहता था कि पहले की गलती दोबारा ना दोहराए और वो अब फुल टाइम डैड बनकर इस बच्चे के साथ रहा। मेंस ग्रुप के साथियों ने उनकी पत्नी से बात करी और वो मान गई। ये शख्स थे द बीटल्स बैंड के लेजेंडरी सिंगर जॉन लेनन। इन्होंने अपने कई साल अपने बच्चे के साथ गुजारे और उनकी दूसरी पत्नी योको ओनो ने उस समय उनका बिजनेस संभाला। बॉक्सिंग चैंपियन मैरी कॉम को तो आप जानते ही होंगे। इन्होंने अपने बच्चों को एक ओपन लेटर लिखा। इसमें उन्होंने कहा कि मेरे मन में तुम्हारे पिता के लिए बहुत ज्यादा रिस्पेक्ट है, जो अपना समय मेरे और तुम्हारे लिए डेडिकेट करते हैं। तुम जल्द ही शब्द सुनोगे हाउस हस्बैंड, लेकिन याद रखना ये कोई गाली नहीं है, अपमानजनक नहीं है। वो मेरी ताकत है, मेरे पार्टनर है, जो मेरे हर कदम में साथ।
I get that he's trying to paint women as the ones that appreciate men for being house husbands, but he earlier also in his own source said that even though women are working, they would not choose men who make less income than them. I think something related to that.
होते हैं।
But then he claims it's only guys who shame other guys for getting into female jobs and making less income than the girls, or being homemakers. The guys who are shaming them because they're not men anymore.
गिने चुने अच्छे उदाहरण।
Like, isn't that a contradiction? Because I think like this is called cognitive dissonance, if I'm not wrong, where your narrative isn't matching your evidences.
दोस्तों, वरना समाज में तो आजकल ये चीजें अभी भी बहुत अनकॉमन है और बहुत मुश्किल है। ना तो किसी औरत पर प्रेशर होना चाहिए कि उन्हें अपना करियर सैक्रिफाइस करना पड़े, और ना ही किसी आदमी पर हाउस हस्बैंड होने का स्टिग्मा होना चाहिए। प्रॉब्लम यहाँ पर यह भी है कि होम मेकर होना अपने आप में ही स्टिग्मेटाइज्ड है। वर्किंग वुमेन को ही पावरफुल वुमेन की तरह देखा जाता है। कहा जाता है कि औरतों को डिसीजन मेकिंग पावर तभी मिलेगी जब वो कमा रही हो। ये काफी गलत डिस्कोर्स है। अपने घर को संभालना कोई इंफीरियर काम कैसे हो सकता है? अपने बच्चों को बड़ा करने से नोबल।
No, it's not that it's inferior to be a homemaker, but anyway, it's not the topic of discussion today. I'll skip.
बेसिकली बात
No, but I think the problem is that there's not enough work for you if you're in 21st century. If you're trying to be a homemaker, there's not enough work for you as compared to how much work homemakers used to have in, like, let's say 16th, 17th, or even 18th, early 18th century. They had a lot of work. Now you don't, right? So now you're just sitting there doing, okay, a little bit here or there, like you're cooking, you're cleaning, but majority of the time you're sitting in front of the TV and at your ease, chopping the vegetables. Like there's just not enough work.
कि कौन घर को संभालेगा और कौन
And even your children are going to school, right? Like, so you're like, women used to tend to children in the past, but now they go to school. So like, you're paying the teachers to take care of your children. So what is it that you're doing if they're in school 7, 8, 9 hours?
काम करेगा? ये किसी कपल का आपसी फैसला होना चाहिए। कुछ इसी तरीके से दोस्तों बहुत सारे मेंस इश्यूज और वुमेन्स इश्यूज आपस में जुड़े हुए हैं। ये इकट्ठे ही सॉल्व हो सकते हैं। जैसे हर किसी को
Okay, so I think this is the outro.
इंसान का फर्ज। कुछ सारे लड़के जो कहते हैं कि सारी
Okay, yeah, this is the outro chat. So first of all, let's go back to his third and fourth lie.
को देखकर लोग कहते हैं कि ये केजी के बच्चे।
I don't agree on that. It depends upon economic situation of family, actually. So it's a little incorrect. Yeah, I'm not going into detail. I think I can convince you by sharing more details, but it's not the topic of discussion today, so I'm skipping over it. But I've had conversations where people hold the position as you until like detailed evidence or arguments are presented. You're fair to believe what you're believing, but if I shared a different picture, I think it'll make you think differently. But we'll do that some other time. So chat, so I have to check off the third lie here, and his third lie is that
अनक्वेश्चनेबल रिस्पेक्ट है लोगों की, लेकिन मेल नर्स को देखकर लोग कहते हैं कि डॉक्टर नहीं बन पाया क्या? मेल प्री स्कूल टीचर को देखकर लोग कहते हैं कि ये केजी के बच्चों को क्या पढ़ा?
But chat, I presented an evidence already where men were asked on Reddit in 3 posts. In 3 posts, just in case people see this on the watch. in 3 posts, and their overwhelming comments is nothing like what Dhruv is saying. This is not what the picture looks like in the real experience. It's not men who are shaming men for not entering preschool. If you read majority of these comments, it's the women at the work because it's a female-dominated space. So it's women who are shaming them, sexually harassing them, groping them, doing a locker room talk, discriminating against them. So how is it men-on-men issue, Dhruv? Do you have any evidence for that? So I'm not gonna read the comments that I've already read. I think I was one step ahead of him. Do I get to check off my 3rd goal? Yeah, you should present evidence. Yeah, we'll do that. Like when we're discussing that, I will like give you more details into it. And now, I only have one lie left to debunk before I get to end the stream, chat. And that lie has been told. So, the last lie, chat, is that men are stressed if women make more money than them. Where is it? Chat, do you think it's the men? Do you think it's men who are stressed if women make more money than them? Is that true? But what if, chat, if I proved him wrong with statistics, so overwhelming and so damning evidence that he could not debunk it? Let's listen to him first again.
यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ बात की एक स्टडी में 6 से आता हो, ये एक बहुत ही परसिस्टेंट डिमांड है और बात केवल औरतों की डिमांड की नहीं है, बहुत से मेल्स खुद ही इस चीज से कंफर्टेबल महसूस नहीं करते। यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ बात
we're not comfortable ourselves.
की एक स्टडी में 6000 मैरिड कपल से बात की गई। पता चला कि मेल्स को स्ट्रेस होने लगता है अगर उनकी वाइफ उनसे ज्यादा कमाने लगे तो। इसीलिए फीमेल्स का प्री स्कूल टीचर और नर्स
but Dhruv, just like the last time. See, let's get first thing out of the way, Dhruv. Dhruv, first of all, not stressed, but from a Machiavellian point of view, it's much more positioned to have much more money as a man. I'll prove you wrong, statistically. I mean, yeah, you might feel that way. I'll explain that to you. I think you'll agree what I'm about to say. But first, Dhruv, first of all, chat, his own source says that men are most anxious when women don't make any money at all. So let's read it. New study from University of Bath suggests that the trend is impacting male partners' mental health. The study examined 6,000 American heterosexual married couples over the course of 15 years to see how the shift has impacted people's physical and mental health, life satisfaction, and relationships. Okay, cool. They found that men felt the most anxious when they were the sole breadwinner in the family. Now, this doesn't debunk Dhruv's claim, because he's saying men are more stressed, men are not comfortable when women make more money than them. Yeah, but let's just acknowledge men are also not comfortable when women make no money, because then you have to compensate for their lack of income, right? And his own source proves that. Then it says they're least stressed when they contribute 40% of the income. So then his claim is that men want women to make money, just not more than them. 10% less. Is that true? Because I can debunk it. Yeah, Panda, but what I'm saying, it's not a position of power. It's a position of vulnerability. Before I present statistics, does anybody remember this case where a man educated his wife, paid for it, for her to become STM, which is higher level than him, makes more money than him, and she ended up dumping him. She was not alone. Kat, if you don't remember this Jodi Moria case, when her case was revealed, there were 4 other cases reported where they did exactly the same thing. Guys spent money educating their wives more than them, so they made more money than them. And what ended up happening in all of these cases? They dumped the men. They used them like a doormat, and when they had higher income than them, they left them. So Dhruv, I wonder why men are more stressed when women make more money than them. Is it because they're themselves not comfortable? Or is it because they're more at risk of divorce, more at risk of losing their children, more at risk of losing their marriages or alimonies? But these are just stories, Chad. What if I could prove this statistically? Do I then get to mark my 4th goal, which is his last lie that I debunk statistically? I mean, if a woman can contribute income and home, any man with a sane mind would allow it from economic point of view. Yeah. Why would you reject money? The problem is that, before I show statistics, just to answer your, just to address your point, right? And is that the problem where some men would not prefer their women to work is only if they don't contribute to the household expenses, because then it's you're choosing lesser of 2 evils. Like, you can send your woman to work, she doesn't do any household work, and then she also doesn't contribute half of the bills. You're paying all of her bills, she's not contributing anything. Versus she stays at home and she does some household work, which is not enough contribution, but it's better than no contribution. That's the only reason why men would choose that. But if we could force women, just like men have to pay maintenances, alimonies, bills, like if women had to do that, right? You're working, you have to pay half the bills, or I will walk out of marriage. And if I walk out of marriage, I don't get to lose any of my alimony, maintenance, children, child support. I won't lose. I will walk out of marriage if you don't contribute half of the bills. Don't you think the problem is resolved? I get your point from a survival of fittest point of view. It's better to be in power at any condition, whether it's economic, social, and structural conditions too. So it's better to stay in power only if your weaknesses can be exploited. But what if I gave you a protection that your weaknesses cannot be exploited? So I get your point, but I guess they are semi-equivalent. But what if I said to you that, let's say she makes more money than you, but let's just say I incentivized you, just like women do. Like, you get to keep half of her money when you walk away from divorce. I think most men would be okay with that. Who would reject money? Because I think about it, right? Like, when you go shop in a market, do you prefer to choose a product that costs the less amount of money, or do you prefer to pay more and more money? Obviously, human beings, men and women both, like to see their pocket. They want to see more money in their pocket and less money going out of the pocket, right? So why would it be different in any other aspect? Even in marriages, you would like to see more money in your pocket and less in somebody else. So if I said, yeah, women get educated, make more money, but then they have to pay you money, I don't know what your opinion personally would be, but I would think that majority of men would think that there is a benefit to educating and having women work at higher income than them if they can get some benefit from that. I'm not advocating for that, but at the bare minimum, men should not lose their children or child support or alimonies if these women get educated more and then they divorce you. But can I prove this statistically? And then I get to check off my last goal. I think I can. Not one, but I can present 3 studies. Actually, one of them is so ironic, you all are going to laugh. So whose fault is it? Is it men who are uncomfortable when their women make more money? Or is it women who are uncomfortable, who make men uncomfortable when they make more money? I think you're gonna laugh when I tell you the last punchline on this. So chat, what I have here in front of you, I mean, what I'm saying is that an individual seeks power that's a little bit like red pill and it's not related to stress. Yeah, if you're, yeah, like, okay, so I can understand what you're saying, right? Like if you have an upper hand, you're less likely to have insecurities. So you're that position is better for you. I think even if at work, I think it's complex. It's not as simple. Like at work, when you're achieving more and more success, you're getting in, you could equate that to power if you want to, right? You're getting in more and more position of power. But I don't think it necessarily makes you feel better, because the higher you climb the ladder, the more stressful the jobs are, right? If you look at majority of the CEOs of the top companies, they have the least work-life balance. So it's not really a position of privilege. It's a position of a lot of sacrifices and compromises. Yeah, like for example, Elon Musk, he was sleeping in the factory back when Tesla was having a crisis. You don't get to spend a lot of time with the children. You have no work-life balance, basically. Yes, it doesn't have anything to do with stress. Yeah, you're right, it doesn't have anything to do with stress. I think there's some argument that stress increases. But what I'm trying to argue is basically saying men are themselves uncomfortable. That's what he said. If you go before you presented a source.
बहुत से मेल्स खुद ही इस चीज से कंफर्टेबल महसूस नहीं करते. यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ बाथ की
Men don't feel comfortable when women make more money.
6000 मैरिड कपल से बात की गई. पता चला कि मेल
I would argue that men are stressed because they're more at risk of exploitation. That is the only explanation for stress. So what you have in front of me right now, right, in front of you right now, are 3 studies. These are not any studies. These are studies from egalitarian countries where they treat men and women equally. Norway, Sweden. What do these studies find? What do these studies find, chat? Do you think women there still look for men as breadwinners despite the fact they have equality? Of course. If women don't look for breadwinners in equal societies, there's no reason for men to have stress, right? This is from Norway. Hence, this experiment confirms that in a representative sample of Norwegians, females give more weight to earnings of a prospective partners than males do. Although the United Nations over the last 15 years has repeatedly declared that Norway is the most gender-equal society in the world. Substantial gender differences in pay and employment patterns remain. Chat, I'm not just trying to prove that women look for breadwinners, I'm going to try to prove why men have stress when women make more money. Conclusively, we have outlined theoretical foundations for the existence of hypergamy, and we have presented overwhelming empirical evidence that hypergamy is an important feature of mating patterns in Norway. Households are systemically formed such that man on average has the highest rank within the gender-specific distribution of earnings potential. And men with very poor earning prospects have a high probability of staying unmatched. That's why they're stressed, one of the reasons. But Dhruv Rathee thinks that it's men who are not comfortable with women making more money. But this study is telling me that even in equal societies, it's the women who are not comfortable making more money than men. This is Sweden. Sweden is another country that is considered gender equal, right? What do they say? And this proves my point. Chat, read carefully. Let me just look at my screen here. Our study has highlighted that couples where the wife earns more than the husband have relatively high divorce risk, not only in a traditional setup, but also in a society that is organized on the principle of gender equality and with dominant egalitarian gender views. They're at a high risk of divorce, even in gender equal society. But Dhruv thinks that men are not comfortable. I don't know if that's true, Dhruv. Nordic countries, there was Dubro. Nordic countries, female like pursue hobbies and other stuff. Actually, yeah, they're not stressed. They want husbands to make more money. But the nail in the coffin, and you're gonna laugh at what I'm about to show you soon. I think this looks like it's written by a feminist, but you can take the word from the horse's mouth. Lack of economically attractive men to blame for decline in marriage rates, studies suggest. Economically attractive men are to blame for decline in marriage. Gee, wonder why, Dhruv, men are stressed? You think men are not comfortable? And this says lack of economically attractive men to blame for decline in marriage. Gee, wonder why, Dhruv, men are stressed. Anyway, I'm not gonna bother reading. It's the same thing as I just read to you. That women look for men. But the laughing stock, chat, is now. Okay? But first, same thing in the US. The more the wife earns, the more is the risk of divorce. This is what this article proves. It's a study, right? Husbands with much higher incomes than their wives have a lower chance of divorce. And this graph basically says the lower their income compared to their wife, the higher the risk of divorce. However, the laughable thing is this. And if I prove this, I think I leave no doubts. I get to check off my fourth goal by proving that it's not men who are uncomfortable with women making more income. It's women who are uncomfortable when they make more income than men. And my proof, final proof for that, for one study, and another study found that even an unexpected windfall, winning the lottery, leads to greater chance of divorce for female winners than lower chance of divorce for male winners. That's red pill, bro. It's Machiavellian. Yeah, I think this is the greatest red pill. This study basically shows that if a woman wins a lottery, she's likely to exit the marriage because she has more money than a guy. And a guy who wins a lottery doesn't exit the marriage. So what does that mean? Is it that men who are uncomfortable with women having more money than them? Or is it women who are uncomfortable and they see marriage as monetary gain? That's why when you go in marriage market, right, you see ads like this. This is a matrimonial ad. Income of a woman? Nothing. Desired education and occupation of a guy has to be earning 50 lakh and above. She has no income. He has to make 50 lakhs and above. Make it make sense. Here's another one. It's not good. With 4 lakh salary, Mumbai woman seeks surgeon groom who earns at least 1 crore. But Dhruv Rathee thinks that it's men who are uncomfortable with women making more money. Then why are women having matrimonial ads like this? $30 lakhs per annum, 3 BHK, no in-laws, luxurious lifestyle, women's groom criteria sparks outrage. But Dhruv Rathee thinks that it's men who are stressed. So, Kat, what did I just prove? Stop the music. What did I just prove right now? Not only do studies in egalitarian countries show that women are more likely to exit a marriage if they make more money than them, but even the lottery winners are more likely to exit the marriage if they're women. Not only that, the matrimonial ads are filled with women looking for higher income than men. So how is it, Dhruv, that men are uncomfortable with women making more money than them? Do I get to check off my 4th goal? Brother, tell your followers to spend 1 hour of every day in spreading message about absurd bias laws of India on international red pill pages. Read my upper 2 comments. Yes, that's a red pill, bro. It's Machiavellian. Yes, it's red pill. It's Machiavellian. No one. We're doing that. First of all, before I answer that, let me just check off my 4th goal, chat. I think we did it. Did I leave any doubt? Let me know if I was biased in my approach. Did I leave any doubt? Was my proof not conclusive? Let me know, and I'm willing to take an L. But otherwise, looks like I accomplished my goal. Okay, let's address the comments now. Look from there should be a leave out biological. Wait, I'm not seeing here. Okay, look from a philosophical perspective, the focus should be to leave out biological strata of men in pursuit of truth and to be thinkers, but reality in that females are trapped in their biology. What do you mean females are trapped in their biology? Yeah, it's not explained enough. But I have achieved my goal. Let me answer no one. Tell your followers to spend 1 hour every day in spreading message about absurd bias laws of India. We do that. No one. You know I've had a Reddit? You know for how long? 2 years I've been scaling a Reddit. 2 fucking years. I took it to 24,000. What do you think we do on this subreddit? We spread awareness against bias laws, among other things. I have to scale my YouTube. Is there anybody here who hasn't subscribed? Please subscribe. Hypergamy to be intellectual, that shouldn't be the case. I think I think, again, I don't know what you think about it. I've had people say that hypergamy is biological. How do you define biology? Is it biology as in it's one of those DNA and hey, it's just unchangeable, right? One of those biologies? Or do you think it's no free will biology? No free will is basically social programming. Like you can be influenced into giving only one choice by your circumstances, and that's the one you're gonna pick, right? So then that kind of biology could be argued that it's social programming as well. Like, do you think if I gave you an incentive to have an electric vehicle and I said you will get tax rebates more than you do for non-electric vehicle? Let's just say I made it cheaper for you to have an electric vehicle than a gas vehicle. Don't you think you will choose an electric vehicle? So if I incentivized you, choose a man at a higher income by giving you alimonies, maintenances, don't you think you'd do that? That's what men were doing, right? They were incentivized to look for women with dowry. So they were looking for the one that could pay them the most. So is it also social programming and incentivization? I don't know, I'm just asking. A person should leave out the biological, think about himself, and flow towards more thinking one. Yeah, think about yourself. That's how I think that's the right way to go about life, right? If you're gonna think about other people, they're gonna take advantage of you. You should think about yourself first. I think we had a Reddit post a few days ago. You guys should listen. I think this guy is AI, but his advice is right. It corroborates what you're saying. This guy, check this out.
People. What it means is be selfish.
Be selfish.
That doesn't mean not helping people. What it means is making sure you put yourself first. Because if you can't help you, you sure as hell can't help anybody else. Don't smoke dope and drink.
Yeah, so Rusty just goes into other stuff. But I think men are too concerned with, oh, what happens to the rest of the society? What happens to my religion, my family, and all that stuff? But like women, even women, that's how we have simps, right? I was debating with somebody, a personal friend, and they showed that some studies show that men don't have outgroup bias anymore in 2024, but they do have intergroup favoritism. Intergroup favoritism meaning they have favoritism for women. So you should be selfish. From an evolutionary point of view, men should have much more sex with a lot more women, but it's not right from a structural way, bro, of thinking. Yeah, okay, yeah. Like, it's not socially acceptable. Structural way of thinking. Like, it's not fair, that's what you're saying. So should women. Yeah. Yes, it's not right socially, but they should have as much sex with as many women. I mean, if you wanted to expand the species and you could afford it, sure. Sure. It's not very efficient. That's what I'm saying. It's not only not efficient, it's also not cost effective. How are you gonna afford to have that many children? Anyways, chat. Great job, brother. I ain't talking about you specifically. I meant common guys on YouTube and Twitter. Indian men usually ignore doing this after a while. Yes, I've been doing it for 3 years. I feel tired every day. Just because I have a full-time job and I have to do this and I can't balance my life. But I haven't quit in 4 years. 3 years. 4 years, I don't remember. But yeah, I think other guys should do it. I think it's depends upon. Yeah, I think when there's a right ecosystem, more guys will come into it. If it's entertaining, brings clicks, attention, money, sponsorships. If you were able to scale it to that level, it was cool. You know, more guys would do it. but if no matter how good your cause is, if it's boring, nobody's interested, you know. So I think it will change over time. We're trying to do that. I'm saying that women should leave their hypergamy. Actually, they're much more biological than men. I don't know. I think every time this comes up, I think somebody should clarify what they mean by biology. Women should leave their hypergamy. They're not gonna leave. Who leaves the benefits? I give you $1 million, would you just leave it? Okay, I give you $1 million. Okay, I forget about you, because let's say I just gave somebody $1 million to legally sell the drugs. Legally, they will have no punishment. Do you think they're gonna reject it? Let's say I give $1 million per day. Are they gonna reject it? Why? Are you dumb? You think that most people would accept it, right? Because the incentive is great. Why wouldn't you do it? There's no punishment. So asking anyone to leave the hypergamy, it's not gonna happen organically. Like, women are not just gonna decide themselves that it's morally correct to leave the hypergamy. But if you were to punish them, just like we do to drug dealers, then they would leave it. That's what we do for dowry, right? We punish men, so it's taken down. Like the idea of yes, like the idea of I think Rand, actually. I mean, if you are a philosopher, maybe you won't. Yeah, exactly. What do you mean? I mean, if you're a philosopher, maybe you... I think if you're a realistic, practical person, like, I think if you're talking about my drug example, if I give you $1 million, most people will take it. Most people will do it. $1 million per day, selling drugs, no punishment, they'll do it. That's what women get for hypergamy. A lot of money, a lot of benefits. If I took it down, what's the point? Why would you do hypergamy then? It's like spending you know, days and days sitting in a pond looking for a fish when there is no fish in the pond in the first place. Why would you do that? I think women didn't have any benefits from getting from practicing hypergamy. There would be no point in practicing hypergamy. They'll give it up. Yeah, but it's not a way of thinking. It's a zero work policy. It's not the way of thinking of the society, but it should be. But anyway, chat. I feel like I have accomplished the goal. And let me know how I did it. Leave some comments. If there's anybody here who hasn't subscribed, subscribe. But I'm about to end the stream. Any last thoughts? Let me know. But it was nice chatting with you. Maybe I'll come back next week. I had some great dating content I came across that I wanted to react to this weekend, but I didn't get time. But I feel like maybe I can do it next weekend if there's nothing else more important. Other than that, I'm still working on videos and shorts, so that will keep coming out. Do you have any more future plans, bro? Future plans? Look, what I'm trying to do, bruh. My problem is just time and resources. Brother, make a video on benefits of marriage for men, if there are any benefits of marriage for men. Benefits of marriage for men. Comparatively, like if you compare it, then you have no benefits. But in general, if you're speaking, you could argue that if you like children, you get to have children. But it's debatable. Do you get to keep the children? Do you have rights over children? Comparatively, you have no benefits. I think what makes more sense is what are the benefits of marriage? I think it's a challenge to ask a guy like me the benefits of marriage. Hey, your Reddit messaging weren't working? Who are you messaging on Reddit? Maybe I can share some idea too from my side. You can contact me. Okay, I'll open my X DMs. And if you want to contact, my DMs will be open for 2 days. Okay, so if you want to contact me, do that. This is my username. And I will open my DMs in 10 minutes. I don't know where you're trying to contact me on Reddit. This account? Oh, I will expose my information. Yeah, just contact me here, okay? Yeah, so to the guy who was saying benefits of marriage, I don't know, man. What are the benefits of marriage? If there were benefits to marriage, I would have done it. It's only just that if you like children, you get to have children, but with a lot of risk. A lot of risk. A lot of risk, man. So much risk that you could end up dead. Maybe I can share some moderators. No, moderator messaging is allowed. What do you mean? Moderator messaging is absolutely open. Here, message to the mods. Yeah, it's working. Send a message. Do you have a working email? Yeah, I do have an email. Here's my email. rocksmasculinity@gmail. Yeah, this is my email. rocksmasculinity@gmail.com. Anything else, chat? Any comments? Any feedback? Somebody was asking what are the future plans. Look, yeah. So what I was saying was, I'm trying to do my best with how much time I have. It's not a lot. Chat, just to explain to you, right? Now, I'll tell you what my future plans are, but just to explain, chat. This short took me 2 days to make. I get 2 days off in a week. And if this is all I can create, then what do I do in my rest of my... Like, I have no other time left. But I try to do my... That's why I came up with live streams, because it doesn't require any editing. So you could keep the community engaged. I'm working on long-form videos in parallel. I tried to hire an editor, even though I have a money crunch. I'm still trying to hire an editor, if I can find it in my budget. So then I can give him some work, right? And then we can create more and more content. But as of right now, with as far as my capability is, I can do 1 live stream per weekend. I can do 1 or 2 shorts every week. I told Professor that I can be on one of his podcasts once per month. So 1 podcast a month, 4 live stream a month, 4 to 8 shorts per month. And videos I can't promise, even though I'm working. I think if I can take out 1 long-form video a month, that's great. And things are only going to get better once this community grows and I have some revenue coming in, so I can invest in an editor. Then you can see it scale faster and faster, right? So for that, just make sure you click my videos, you watch them. Algorithm thinks they're good, like them. I don't know, what else can you do, right? And then in the future, maybe we'll have some reach and some revenue to do more things. Stay positive, chat. Chat, I haven't given up in 3 years, no matter how long it's taken me to not succeed. And I'm not quitting. Okay, so yeah, we'll just keep working until it hits. Now, chat, it was amazing being on stream. I will see you next weekend, maybe with some dating react content. I am very hungry. I need to order food, drink some water, and do some editing. So if somebody has any last feedback, let me know. But apart from that, I am ready to end the stream. So chat, good night. Have a nice week, and I will see you next weekend. Bye Panday, bye Wolfenstein, bye No One, bye Russell, bye We Free, and everyone who joined and stayed on the stream. You guys are real chats. Good night. See you.